Uchiha Madara's journey through the worlds. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, The Last Stubbornness of the Medicine Clan. The shadow of the Dou Emperor. Black flames obscured the sky, shrouding the entire world. Under the enveloping flames of nothingness, the people below suddenly felt their Dou Qi gradually draining away, as if an invisible entity was constantly devouring their energy. This discovery instantly terrified countless people. Judging from the fate of those who had previously escaped, the Soul Clan clearly had no intention of leaving any survivors. Consequently, the entire mountain range erupted in turmoil. No one had anticipated that a peaceful pharmacological event would end in such a state. Uchiha Madara's eyes transformed into purple Samsara eyes, and the very world slowly shifted within them. Now, tiny, almost invisible black specks of light drifted throughout the world. These specks of light, like maggots on the tarsal bones, descended upon the bodies of those who succumbed to the effects of the Dou Qi, continuously devouring their energy. Even using Dou Qi to shield one's body from this devouring force was ineffective. The black specks of light silently melted into the Dou Qi defenses upon contact. It seems the Soul Clan has long been preparing for the day they'll annihilate the Medicine Clan. He'd previously slain the Soul Palace branches, ultimately even slain its leader, Han Misheng, yet the Soul Clan hadn't immediately come to his aid. This, perhaps, had something to do with it. Ban looked at Xiao, seated in the main seat in the sky. As one of the 8 ancient clans, the Medicine Clan must possess some hidden cards. Xiao hovered in the sky, his expression utterly gloomy as he gazed upon the sky-shattering black flames that permeated the air. He sensed an aura of extreme terror. All members of the Medicine Clan, listen to my command. Activate the heaven-transforming medicine formation. Xiao took a deep breath, his resolute roar resounding. This time, he sensed a sense of crisis he'd never experienced before. This crisis made him realize that the Medicine Clan's survival might depend on this very day. As Xiaodan's fierce roar descended, the hearts of all the Medicine Clan members trembled. The heaven-transforming medicine formation, the Medicine Clan's protective formation, had been activated for the first time since ancient times, demonstrating the severity of the crisis the clan faced. But all the Medicine Clan elders simultaneously swiftly launched beams of light into the mountain range. The mountain shook, and immense beams of light burst forth, eventually interweaving in the sky, to form a vast bizarre formation. As the formation took shape, nearly half of the rare medicinal herbs in the mountains withered instantly. Infinite energy surged forth, pouring into the formation. Boom. At this moment, nearly every member of the Medicine Clan condensed their Dou Qi into a beam of light, finally blasting it into the formation with overwhelming force. The formation shone brightly, and a terrifying pressure erupted, like a giant dragon quietly awakening after thousands of years of slumber. As this pressure emanated, the entire medicine realm vibrated violently, and vast energy continuously converged in the direction of the formation. Uchiha Madara's head trembled. This level of pressure rivaled that of a peak 8-star or even a newly entered 9-star Daosheng. The Medicine Clan's heritage was truly extraordinary. This is the Medicine Clan's protective formation. It's never been activated before, but I didn't expect it to happen this time. Yao Chen looked at the light formation with a complicated expression and said, "It's said that this formation was created by the Medicine Clan's ancestor. A trace of his soul remains within it. If activated, it might be able to stop the Soul Clan." Ancestor? Madara noticed this keenly. This meant that this formation was created by the Medicine Clan's Dou Qi. Haha, is this the Medicine Clan's protective formation? It's certainly far more powerful than those of the Spirit Clan and the Stone Clan. Outside the formation, Hunk Suzy gazed down at the formation below, surging with energy that made his heart palpitate. He smiled, then, under the gaze of the numerous gazers, turned around and bent toward the sky-filled black flames. He said respectfully, "Lord Zuwu, this formation may require your intervention to break it." As Hunk Suzy's respectful voice fell, the black flames behind him suddenly began to stir. As they grew, they slowly coalesced into a human figure, finally appearing before countless gazers. The figure was shrouded in black flames, and eerie black runes covered his body. His eyes, like black holes, were filled with a terrifying devouring power. He stood in the sky, atop black flames. His features were slightly blurred by the shroud of black flames, but as he emerged, an extremely ancient and eerie aura slowly emerged between heaven and earth. Woo. With the appearance of this black flame figure, the sky filled with devouring flames suddenly emitted a strange humming sound, as if welcoming their master. Under the gaze of countless horrified eyes, the towering figure, resembling a demon, slowly lowered his head, gazing at the formation below, rippled with immense power. With a wave of his sleeves, the black flames above his head surged violently, eventually transforming into a dense black rain of fire, which descended upon the formation in an overwhelming manner. Sizzle. As the black rain of fire fell, bursts of white mist suddenly erupted above the formation. Everyone could feel the energy of the formation being devoured by the rain of fire. Medicine Clan, surrender. There's still a chance of survival. Yao Clan can be of some use to us. A shower of black fire poured down from the sky, and the lush mountains instantly turned withered and yellow, as if all life had been devoured. At the same time, a raspy, soul-shaking voice slowly emanated from the demonic figure. Uchiha Madara licked his lips, ready to strike. Is this the void-devouring flame, ranked second on the strange fire list? Starting today, it says, devouring my Yao clan won't be so easy. Yaoden's expression darkened at that moment. With a fierce shout, several beams of light erupted from the Yao mountain, charging directly into the formation. Within those beams, a dense mass of various medicinal pills filled the formation. As the vast amount of elixirs poured into the formation, Yaoden's face became filled with determination. Myriad elixirs transform the heavens. In the name of elixir, the ancestor returns. With his fierce shout, a vortex suddenly appeared in the center of the formation, and endless liquid energy poured in. Simultaneously, an extremely ancient aura slowly emanated from the vortex, swelling at high speed before quietly dissipating. As the vortex dissipated, the illusory figure of an old man in coarse linen appeared between heaven and earth. The phantom of the Medicine Clan's Dao Emperor has appeared. PS. Second update, expected to conclude the Duppo chapter around chapter 200. Chapter 177 Chapter 183 to 184 Uchiha Madara finally takes action. The moment the Medicine Clan Dowdy's phantom appeared, a glint flashed in Madara's eyes. This phantom was a remnant of a soul, but even as a mere fragment, it was several times more powerful than an Emperor level soul. If an Emperor level soul could defeat a 7-star Dao Sheng with its soul power alone, then this remnant could, through soul power alone, wield power comparable to a 9-star Dao Sheng. What if this phantom wasn't a remnant of a soul, but a complete soul, possessing a complete body? At this thought, Madara's eyes flickered again. It seemed the Dowdy was far more powerful than he'd imagined. However, according to his prediction, since the events with the Medicine Clan weren't the final outcome, the Soul Clan would most likely prevail. He just didn't know what tactics this void-devouring flame would employ. Medicine Emperor. The black-robed figure transformed by void-devouring flame stared at the Medicine Emperor with hollow eyes and let out a bewildered sigh. But it's a pity that the strongest man back then is now just a remnant of his soul. Ancestor, save our Yao clan. Yaoden knelt down from the sky and said respectfully, the Medicine Clan. In the formation, the old man in coarse linen clothes murmured softly. The passage of time has made his few remaining memories more and more hazy, but fortunately, he still has memories of the race he created. That extremely ancient gaze slowly swept below, and finally turned into a murmur like a self-talk. It's so dilapidated. Hearing the whisper of the illusory old man, shame suddenly surged on Yaoden's face. But the problem is, what the Medicine Emperor said is a big truth, and he has no room for rebuttal. This is the void-devouring flame. The illusory old man did not talk to anyone from the Medicine Clan. He slowly raised his head and looked at the black flames that filled the sky. With a wave of his sleeves, light suddenly emerged above the formation. The black flames that adhered to it and kept devouring energy were directly and forcibly shaken away. Without complete memories, without a complete soul, in a daze, like a puppet, a great Medicine Emperor has come to this point. Well, I will take your remnant soul. At least it will be counted among the millions of ordinary souls. In the sky, void devouring flame smiled faintly, without a trace of awe in his tone. He stretched out his hand and pointed his finger covered with black runes downwards. Boom. As void devouring flame pointed his finger, the world suddenly collapsed and the ground cracked. In the black flames, a giant black flaming finger that almost covered half of the mountain range fell from the sky and pressed hard against the formation. The space of heaven and earth all exploded under that finger. Seeing the terrifying power of this finger, many people turned pale. The black finger fell from the sky, but just when it was about to fall on the formation, the Medicine Emperor finally raised his hand, and a medicine cauldron with an area no weaker than that giant finger appeared on the formation. The medicine cauldron was covered with all kinds of strange patterns, and it looked like a substance, and an ancient breath suddenly rippled out. But the giant finger pressed heavily on the giant cauldron, and suddenly, a buzzing sound resounded between heaven and earth. Under the terrifying buzzing sound, some of the weaker ones spat out mouthfuls of blood on the spot. Some even had their eardrums burst, and blood continuously flowed from their ears, a miserable sight. As the two collided, the giant finger dissipated, and the medicine cauldron became much more illusory. Even the figure of the Medicine Emperor faded slightly, obviously consuming a lot of energy. How many attacks can a remnant soul withstand from me? The attack was fruitless, but Zhu swallowing flame chuckled lightly and pressed his fingers into the void. Suddenly, the earth shook, and several giant fingers descended from the sky, repeatedly and fiercely slamming into the giant cauldron. Buzz buzz buzz. As the earth shaking sound rang out, several cracks appeared on the giant cauldron. All members of the medicine clan, pour all your fighting spirit into the formation. Seeing that the void devouring flame was not even afraid of the residual soul of the ancestor, Yeoden's face changed drastically again, and he shouted loudly. Countless beams of light shot out and poured into the big formation. Suddenly, the giant cauldron became solid again, and this time, the giant cauldron actually flew out of the big formation directly, whistling towards the void devouring flame in the sky. Seeing the giant cauldron flying over, Hunk Su's face changed, and he hurriedly hid behind the void devouring flame. You have the power of the medicine clan, and I have it too. Void devouring flame's tone was still calm, and he saw him wave his sleeves, and the whole medicine world trembled suddenly. The next moment, everyone was shocked to see that outside this big formation, dense black flames rose into the sky, and finally entered the black flames that filled the sky. Suddenly, countless shrill screams resounded in this world. It's the descendants of the medicine clan. Soul clan, my medicine clan, and you will never forgive each other. Yeoden also noticed the shocking changes outside the formation. His eyes were about to burst, and his resentful and crazy roars resounded throughout the world. Those were all residents of the medicine clan, and there were as many as 1 million of them. Zhu Tunan ignored Yeoden's roar. He clenched his palms, and a blood ball continued to condense, and then expanded at an extremely terrifying speed. In the blood ball, the people of the medicine clan could clearly feel a familiar smell. Explode. When the blood ball expanded to nearly 1,000 feet, Zhu Tunan waved his hand, and the blood ball rushed out violently, and finally collided heavily with the flying giant tripod. The blood light covered the sky in an instant, and everyone's ears seemed to be temporarily deafened. Only the blood red filling their eyeballs made them understand that the destructive collision was not an illusion. Boom. An indescribably terrifying energy surge raged wildly from the sky. The ancient cauldron, at the moment of contact, cracks exploded across its body. Finally, consumed by the frenzied black flames, it completely dissolved, the remaining destructive force sweeping down, fiercely slamming into the formation. The entire formation became increasingly ethereal. At the center of the formation, Medicine Emperor observed the scene and sighed softly, his muttering echoing in everyone's ears. This calamity is still unavoidable. As his voice fell, his figure suddenly pierced the formation, transforming into a shimmering light. With a swiftness exceeding that of light, it pierced through the black flame clouds and finally pierced into the body of void devouring flame. Bang! The two collided, with only a dull thud, but void devouring flame's body trembled violently. Then, his voice finally gained a hint of anger. You damned old ghost, dissipate from heaven and earth for me. Black flames surged out from his body like an overwhelming force, and soon, a subtle sound was heard, as if the soul was broken. The sound was not loud, but all the people of the medicine clan stiffened at this moment. They could feel that something in their blood was quietly dying. Ancestor. Yaodan stared at the sky with bloodshot eyes, as if a belief was collapsing at this moment. Even the medicine emperor could not beat the void devouring flame, which undoubtedly brought despair and panic to everyone in the field. All the people of the medicine clan. Now is a time of life and death for my medicine clan, and we have only one way out. Try our best to preserve the bloodline. All elders, follow me. As Yaodan's final roar fell, overwhelming figures suddenly flew out of the mountains. They understood that, if they could not survive this disaster, the Yao clan would completely disappear in history. The Yao clan was their root, and without the companionship of their root, they would be displaced, and all their former glory and pride would be annihilated. Kill. Looking at the densely packed figures rising into the sky, Yaodan's body was trembling, and the monstrous fighting spirit burst out from his body without reservation, and finally turned into a 1,000-foot-long fighting spirit streak that whistled out, and with a terrifying momentum, it rushed towards the void-devouring flame in the sky. Swish. Following that 1,000-foot-long thread of Dou Qi, countless other strands of Dou Qi, varying in strength, simultaneously emanated, carrying a sense of determination as they swept towards void-devouring flame. Uchiha Madara watched, shaking his head. Though this was the combined might of the medicine clan, numbers proved utterly useless against void-devouring flame, a 9-star Dou Sheng. Just like him, if the medicine clan dared to launch an entire counterattack against him, he could annihilate them with a single 6 paths Shinra Tensei. He grasped the immortal staff. It had already been 3 chapters. The medicine clan had struggled enough. It was time for him to strike. Void devouring flame, his hand covered in strange runes, extended again, forming a series of hand seals with lightning speed. Suddenly, the black flames, which nearly obscured the entire space, surged violently. Finally, behind void devouring flame, a vast black vortex, tens of thousands of feet across, formed. As the vortex took shape, an indescribably terrifying, devouring force erupted, overwhelming the earth. Bang, bang. Under this terrifying devouring force, the land within a radius of 10,000 miles suddenly collapsed. Huge cracks thousands of feet long spread from the ground, like hideous wounds, covering this vast area. Swish, swish, swish. Huge streams of fighting spirit continuously rushed into the black hole vortex, and the low sound of explosions rang out in the black hole. However, despite the continuous sound of explosions, the black hole vortex was not shaken completely. Not bad for the medicine clan. You are indeed much stronger than the spirit clan and the stone clan. However, this still cannot change your final outcome. Stabilizing himself, void devouring flame cast his eyes downwards, and an ancient and hoarse voice came out slowly. As the hoarse voice of void devouring flame slowly fell, the black flames in the sky suddenly slowly dropped down spherical objects that looked like fetal eggs. Black flames lingered above the spheres, and faint blood light quietly seeped out from the black flame clouds, and finally swept into the fetal eggs. Bang, bang. As the blood surged in, the dense mass of black flame eggs suddenly exploded. Suddenly, shrill, piercing cries echoed through the sky. Dense shadows of black flame poured down from the sky like a torrential rain, finally surging madly towards the mountain range below. Seeing the dense, and violent black flame shadows sweeping down from the sky, everyone in the mountain range's expressions changed drastically. They immediately hurriedly circulated their Dou Qi. However, just as their Dou Qi began to rise, a dark light flashed before their eyes. Many felt a pain in their chests. Looking down, they saw a massive bloody hole in their chests, and blood and internal organs spurted out. Facing this monstrous army of black flame creatures, the entire mountain range was plunged into chaos. Fierce fighting broke out everywhere, shrill screams echoed, and crimson blood stained the ground. In midair, Yaodan looked at the rapidly disorganized Yaoshan, his expression extremely gloomy. He waved his sleeves, and terrifying fighting spirit burst forth, instantly shattering hundreds of black flame creatures that approached his body. Then, with a swift grasp, he snatched up a black flame creature, and, examining it for a moment, his pupils suddenly constricted as he took a sharp breath of cold air. The soul-devouring clan. How could such a race still exist? Weren't they completely wiped out in ancient times? The soul-devouring clan. Haha, as expected of the Yao clan's leader, you should now understand why my soul clan attacked you, right? Hunk Suzy smiled faintly, his gaze towards Yaoden sinister. No wonder, since those ancient times, so many races have gradually declined, yet only your soul clan has survived. Yaoden looked at the void devouring flame in the sky with great horror, as if he had discovered something extremely terrible. But then, he suddenly appeared below, and with a wave of his sleeves, dozens of young people from the Yao clan were caught in his hands. Then he shouted loudly, the elder of the Yao clan blew himself up to destroy the space. We can die, but we must leave blood seeds for the Yao clan. Hearing Yaoden's heartbreaking roar, many powerful Yao clan members in the sky trembled, sorrow and resoluteness flashing across their faces. Given the choice between extinction and sacrificing themselves to preserve their bloodline, they chose the latter without hesitation. But at that moment, a mighty sound, like a staff striking the ground, resounded throughout the Yao clan space. Then, the entire Yao clan space seemed to stand still. The self-destruction of countless Yao clan members abruptly paused. Furthermore, as if time had flown backwards, the bodies and souls devoured by the soul devourers merged together, resurrecting anew. White sage robes fluttered slowly in the sky. Uchiha Madara once again swung his staff and gently struck the ground, sending countless soul devourers shattering and exploding. Void devouring flame. Ha. Soul clan. Ha. I, Uchiha Madara, declare that from this day forward, you will vanish from this world. P.S. 2 chapters in 1. The manifestation has finally begun. Chapter 178. Void devouring flame explodes and retreats. Seeing all the soul devourers instantly disintegrate into a bloody mist, and the medicine clan's Dou Sheng masters being forcibly stopped by Uchiha Madara, even causing time to rewind, this immediately made void swallowing flame realize that Uchiha Madara was a truly extraordinary figure. Hunk Suzy, who is this man? Void swallowing flame's deep voice boomed. Lord swallowing flame, this man is Uchiha Madara. He destroyed the soul palace a while ago. I was busy plotting against the medicine clan at the time, so I didn't pay close attention to him. However, I know he's suspected to be from the Dou Emperor family, Hunk Suzy said respectfully. Contact the Soul Emperor immediately. I can't handle such a person alone, Void swallowing flame said, looking at Uchiha Madara. He could see through Uchiha Madara's Dou Qi realm at a glance. It was only at the peak of a 4-star Dou Sheng. However, the power he had just displayed was definitely beyond that of a 4-star Dou Sheng. Even he, or even the Soul Emperor, could never achieve what Uchiha Madara had just done. Even if it was a unique ability of Uchiha Madara himself, it should not be underestimated. Yes, Lord Tunan. Hunk Suzy took the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade and instantly tore a space scroll apart to leave this space. This space scroll was specially made by Zuwu Tunan, so there was no problem leaving this space. As for Zuwu Tunan's own safety, Zuwu Tunan was confident that, if he wanted to run, no one would be able to stop him. Uchiha Madara glanced at the fleeing Hunk Suzy, and did not chase him. From the mouth of the old dragon, he already knew that the opening of the Tuosh Ancient Emperor cave required the complete Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade, so he let this Hun clan open it. In the end, the only person who could get everything was him. That move just now showed your strength. Let me test it. 9-star Dou Sheng, early stage, Emperor level soul, void devouring flame. As he spoke, a pitch black ball of light spun rapidly within void devouring flame's palm. This ball of light grew larger and larger, reaching tens of thousands of feet in a flash. The black vortex, like a black hole, devoured Uchiha Madara, sucking everything in its path into it, crushing everything with ease, like a tidal wave. Boom. Rumble. Rumble. A tremendous sound echoed throughout the surroundings as the black vortex approached, shocking everyone. This force was simply not something a human could withstand. The power of a 9-star Dou Sheng was truly terrifying. Even if 10 7-star Dou Shengs combined, they wouldn't be able to withstand the black vortex before them unless they self-destructed. 9-star Dou Sheng in the early stages, the devouring power is very strong, right? Uchiha Madara's expression remained unchanged, ripples shimmering in his purple Rinnegan. He raised his right palm slightly, and a vast chakra force erupted at that moment, creating a white vortex, also tens of thousands of feet in size, carrying an unstoppable momentum as it rushed towards the black vortex. It was unclear whether the void devouring flame's devouring power was greater, or whether his Rinnegan's absorption power was stronger. Madara remained extremely confident in himself. After absorbing the fruit of the sacred tree, he showed no fear even for the old dragon in the late 9-star Daosheng stage, crushing it all the way. Not to mention a void devouring flame in the early 9-star Daosheng stage before him. In this world, the only person who could pose a threat to him was the legendary Dou Qi. No one below the Dou Qi stage could bring out his full strength. Rumble. The moment the white and black vortexes collided, a dazzling white light illuminated half the sky, while a terrifying black light obscured it. The two forces clashed, eroding each other in a stalemate, neither side gaining the upper hand. The power of devouring and the power of absorbing are essentially the same. They can be considered to be of the same origin. Void devouring flame has now reached the 9-star Daosheng realm. Furthermore, after years of cultivation by the Soul Clan, and through absorbing the soul essence gathered by the Soul Palace, his soul has also reached the Emperor realm. His strength is immense. However, facing Uchiha Madara at this moment, this is still futile. Void devouring flame was stunned. He had not expected this. Uchiha Madara and he shared the same devouring power. Thinking of this, void devouring flame secretly thought, oh no. He probably couldn't defeat Uchiha Madara in a head-on battle. His best option now was to flee. While he was attacking the Medicine Clan, the Soul Clan was also dispatching pawns hidden by the other ancient clans to attack the Ancient Clan, the Flame Clan, and the Thunder Clan, the remaining 3 ancient clans that hadn't yet obtained the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade. If he returned now, the Soul Emperor would almost certainly be able to successfully fuse the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade. At that time, Soul Emperor would be able to seek out the Ancient Emperor's cave. After swallowing the Imperial Grade Young Pill, he would attain Dao Emperor level power. For this being, whose original Imperial energy had been completely lost, Soul Emperor, as a Dao Emperor, would undoubtedly be the most powerful being. At that time, regardless of Uchiha Madara's true strength, he would inevitably fall at the hands of Soul Emperor. With this thought, the void devouring flame began to self-destruct. A vast black vortex of space instantly filled the entire Medicine Clan realm, engulfing nearly everyone. Uchiha Madara raised a brow. The power of the alien fire's self-destruction was indeed considerable. The void devouring flame's current detonation was equivalent to the entire attack of the old dragon. With a slight wave of the immortal staff, a pitch black jade barrier appeared before Madara. Despite the void devouring flame's detonation's immense power, it failed to harm Uchiha Madara in the slightest. However, the soaring vortex of energy, carrying immense Dou Qi, rushed towards Uchiha Madara, causing him to miss the perfect opportunity to subdue the void devouring flame. With a flick of the immortal staff, the soaring blast dissipated without a trace by the time it reached Uchiha Madara. By then, void devouring flame had already left the Medicine Clan. Uchiha Madara's lips curled up. He had already carved his spatial symbol into void devouring flame's body. No matter where void devouring flame hid, it would remain hidden from his eyes. You are void devouring flame, the second highest ranked in the strange fire rankings. How could he not be tempted by such a temptation? Uchiha Madara looked down. The Medicine Clan was now in ruins, blood splattered everywhere, and countless members of the Medicine Clan were staring at Uchiha Madara, their eyes filled with admiration for the powerful. Uchiha Madara relished the feeling of being high in the sky, but he showed no sign of lingering. He charged directly towards the Ancient Emperor's cave in the Magna World, ready to wait for the opportunity. However, the news of the Medicine Clan would soon spread throughout the Dou Qi continent. The final event was approaching. P.S. Billions of geniuses battled in the universe, countless fundamental laws, countless powerful individuals in the virtual universe, and countless treasures for enlightenment. Devouring this stage is very suitable for Madara. Chapter 179 Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade is gathered. Because of Uchiha Madara's presence, the Medicine Clan wasn't completely wiped out as in the original novel. Instead, only their Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade was taken away, leaving many survivors. These survivors became natural spreaders of information. In less than a day, word spread throughout Zhongzhou that the Soul Clan was behind the destruction of the Soul Destroying and Stone clans. The Ancient, Flame, Thunder, and Medicine clans immediately convened a 4-clan meeting, held in the Ancient Clan's ancient realm. How is your clan's Tosha Ancient Emperor Jade? Was it also stolen by a pawn planted by the Soul Clan? Dou Huang, the ancient clan leader, asked from his seat at the head of the group, frowning. He had truly underestimated the Soul Clan, having directly instigated the rebellion of a 6-star Dao Sheng within their clan. After all, a 6-star Dao Sheng's status within the ancient clan, while not second only to the clan leader as in the Medicine clan, was still among the top 10 in the clan. That such a figure could be instigated by the Soul Clan was something Dou Huang had never imagined. Thus, the Tosha Ancient Emperor Jade, stored in the clan ancestral hall, was stolen by the Soul Clan. The Flame and Thunder clan leaders nodded helplessly. Indeed, their respective clans' 2 ancient Emperor Jades had also been stolen by the Soul Clan. Dou Huang's frown deepened. As he'd expected, if even the most powerful ancient clan had suffered such a tragedy, then the weaker Flame and Thunder clans were certainly not immune. This way, the Soul Clan will have gathered all 8 Tuo Ancient Emperor Jades. Once all 8 Tuo Ancient Emperor Jades are gathered, Soul Emperor will surely explore the location of the Ancient Emperor's cave. If he does find the location, and then inherits Tuo Ancient Emperor's legacy, and has the hope of becoming a Dao Emperor, then things will become even more difficult. Yaodan, the Medicine clan leader, sighed. Who could have imagined that the Soul Clan had remained hidden for so many years? Send personnel to monitor the Soul Realm at all times. If anything happens, the armies of the 4 clans will immediately move out. Dou Huang stood up and looked in all directions. At this point, there was only one solution, the Soul Realm. Atop the mountain, a figure stood with his hands behind his back. He looked up at void devouring flame in the sky and smiled faintly. Dressed in white, he stood out against the dark, eerie atmosphere. Yet, no one questioned his abruptness. Everyone looked at him with fervor and awe. This figure was, of course, the Soul Clan's patriarch, the Soul Emperor. With a single stride, the Soul Emperor appeared before void devouring flame in the sky. He examined him closely before chuckling. Not bad. After all this trouble, I finally helped you reach the Emperor realm. Haha. Void devouring flame couldn't help but laugh. Generally speaking, cultivating a soul to the Emperor realm was extremely difficult for beings like him. Fortunately, the Soul Palace had refined a significant amount of soul essence over the years, and they were able to use that immense power to forcibly elevate him. However, the price of this ascension was quite high. He had devoured the vast majority of the soul essence that the Soul Palace had painstakingly gathered over the years. However, void devouring flame held an extremely high position within the Soul Clan, so no one could object to such treatment. There's no reward without effort. With my current strength, I'm more than capable of holding off Dou Huang for a while. If the 2 of us were to join forces, defeating him wouldn't be difficult. But we need to be careful with that sudden appearance of Uchiha Madara. I think his strength is likely similar to yours, a late stage 9-star Dao Sheng, void devouring flame said. Uchiha Madara. No matter who it is, no one can stop me after I become the Dao Di. Emperor Hunshan smiled and nodded. He did not deny Zhu Wu swallowing flame, but his eyes were a little fiery, and he whispered, it seems that it is time to explore the location of the ancient Emperor Tuoshi's cave. As long as you open the cave and get the embryonic form of the Emperor Pill in it, you will be able to use its power to break through the level that no one has reached in 10,000 years and become the true strongest existence in this world. Zhu Wu swallowing flame licked his lips and then changed his tone, saying with a smile, however, you must not forget that there are also things I need in that cave. This is the agreement we made back then. Don't worry, you are closely related to my Soul Clan, and I will never deceive you. If it is true as you said, there is what you need in the cave, and I will help you get it. Emperor Hunshan said with a smile. Void devouring flame nodded in satisfaction. The Soul Clan had survived to this day thanks to it. He had helped the Soul Clan so much, naturally for his own reasons and needs. Otherwise, even a powerful being like the Soul Heavenly Emperor couldn't force him to do anything for the Soul Clan. HMPH, Tuosh Ancient Emperor. Void devouring flame's face flickered with a sneer, then faded away, turning his gaze towards the Soul Heavenly Emperor. The latter waved his sleeve, and 8 ancient jades slowly floated out. The ancient jades hovered above the Soul Heavenly Emperor's head, emitting a faint glow. The 8 ancient jades reflected each other, creating a brilliant effect. A strange ripple seemed to emanate from them. The sole heavenly emperor glanced at the 8 jades with fiery eyes, suddenly biting his tongue, and a mouthful of blood spurted out, landing on the 8 jades. But, soaked in the blood essence, the 8 jades, which had previously shone with a faint luster, suddenly emitted a subtle humming sound. The light grew stronger, and strange patterns faintly flowed across the surface of the ancient jade. The Tuosh ancient emperor jade has been scattered for years. Now, I will gather it for you. Gazing at the strange phenomenon in the sky, the Soul Emperor chuckled, then grasped the ancient jade with his palm, and gave it a firm grip. Swish! With the Soul Emperor's grip, the 8 pieces of ancient jade were instantly fused together. However, they did not shatter. Instead, the interweaving of their light gave them a faint tendency to connect. But, the ancient jade drew closer, and the humming sound grew stronger. Finally, with a few crackling sounds, the 8 pieces of ancient jade suddenly merged together. Suddenly, a burst of light erupted, and a complete ancient jade, a fraction larger than the palm of his hand, appeared in the sky. As the Tuosh ancient emperor jade was pieced together, an ancient, untamed aura suddenly and slowly emanated from the jade. As this ancient aura permeated the air, a faint mist of light rose from the jade, transforming into the ethereal figure of an elderly man above it. The elder was clad in a black robe, his hair ablaze with colors, each one akin to rising flames, a truly bizarre sight. His features were ordinary and commonplace, yet his eyes, as deep as the starry sky, held the power of the ruler of heaven and earth. Under the gaze of those eyes, anyone, even a powerhouse like the Soul Heaven Emperor, would feel a slight tremor in their soul. Tuosh ancient emperor. In this world, the only one capable of causing such emotion in even the Soul Heaven Emperor was a legendary Dou Emperor. And this old man seemed to be the legendary Dou Qi continent's last Dou Emperor, Tuosh ancient emperor. Within the Soul Realm, save for a handful of powerful individuals who managed to resist the trembling and raise their heads, the rest of the group kept their heads bowed, feeling as if even the slightest lift would result in their being crushed by the overwhelming pressure. Under this pressure, far surpassed even by the Soul Emperor, everyone felt nothing but fear. HMPH, playing tricks. It's just a shadow, yet you're trying to be so mystical. The Soul Emperor's expression darkened slightly, clearly irritated by this emotion, something he hadn't seen in years. He cast a cold glance at the phantom and suddenly struck it with a palm. Destroy. The Soul Emperor's fierce palm slammed heavily upon the phantom, but the moment it made contact, his expression suddenly changed. Then, an extremely terrifying force suddenly rebounded, pouring down upon the phantom, sending it flying hundreds of feet. Be careful. Although it's just an image, it was left by the ancient Emperor Tuosh, Zhuo said in a deep voice. His eyes were also somewhat cold as he stared at the shadow. He couldn't help but grit his teeth, his eyes slightly complicated. The Soul Emperor's face turned a little gloomy. He suffered a loss in front of so many clansmen, which made him feel unhappy. He frowned and asked, how do we get rid of this shadow? What's the rush? Zhuo rolled his eyes and said, the location of the ancient Emperor Tuosh's cave is hidden in the eyes of this shadow. Oh. Hearing this, the Soul Emperor was slightly surprised. He stared intently at the shadow's eyes. After a moment, his expression gradually became solemn. He seemed to have seen a little bit of the image, but it didn't seem clear. What a masterful Tuosh ancient emperor. He possesses such a skill. Even if an ordinary person gathered all 8 jades, without knowing the secret, it would be extremely difficult to discover the cave's location. Soul Emperor exclaimed in amazement. Even with his strength, he couldn't help but nod in admiration at such a skill. Void, it seems I'll have to trouble you. Void swallowing flame smiled and nodded. Then, his pupils suddenly turned pure black. 2 fine beams of light flashed from his eyes and pierced the eyes of the phantom. The light refracted, and the black light bounced back into the sky. Suddenly, an image, magnified countless times, appeared in the sky. This is. Soul Emperor narrowed his eyes and stared at the image in the sky. It was a vast unfamiliar area. He knew at a glance that this region was not in Zhangzhou. The image first passed over the mountains near this strange region, then suddenly turned sharply downward, plunging directly into the ground. Suddenly, a sea of fire and a boundless sea of magma appeared before his gaze. Where is this? Soul Emperor frowned. Judging from the image, This magma sea should be underground, but the exact location couldn't be determined. Based on this alone, the image continued to penetrate deeper into the magma sea. Suddenly, a strange creature appeared in the image. It was a lizard-like creature, its eyes gleaming with ferocity. Following the appearance of this lizard-like creature, an ancient stone door faintly emerged from the deepest part of the magma world. Atop the stone door were 4 words. Ancient Emperor's Cave. Crack. As Soul Emperor's gaze rested on the 4 blurred ancient characters, the image abruptly stopped. He slowly exhaled, the fiery look in his eyes growing more intense. What do you think? This place is unfamiliar to me. I've probably never been there, Void Devouring Flame said, looking at Soul Emperor. I'm a little unfamiliar with it, too. Soul Emperor frowned. The Dou Qi continent was quite large. Although the image showed a vast area, determining its location quickly was no easy task. He pondered for a moment, then waved his hand, and the 4 Soul Clan demon saints darted over. Soul Emperor glanced at them and said calmly, record all the terrain and mountain features you've seen, and pass them on to those of your clansmen still outside. Have them mobilize all their forces and search each location for me. Make sure to confirm the local topography. If they can't, don't return. Upon hearing this, the 4 demon saints quickly and respectfully responded, then quickly retreated to give instructions. I can sense that Gu Yuan is monitoring us. If we send out a large number of powerful warriors, it will inevitably attract his attention, said Void Devouring Flame. Don't worry, let's confirm the terrain first. We'll find a way when the time comes. Soul Emperor nodded, then clasped his hands behind his back, gazed at the shimmering ancient jade in the sky, and muttered to himself. I've put so much effort into gathering you. I don't believe I can't find the address of the cave. P.S. This chapter is the final foreshadowing before the final event. After that, it's the final event, and after a short stay in the Dou Qi continent, it's the journey to devouring the stars. Chapter 180 The Ancient Emperor's Cave is born. Blackhorn Region, Canon Academy. At the bottom of the Magna world, in the Ancient Emperor's Cave, Uchiha Madara sat quietly cross-legged. Across from Madara stood Zhu Kun, the Elder Dragon Emperor of the Taixu Ancient Dragon Clan, who guarded the Ancient Emperor's Cave. At this moment, Zhu Kun felt a surge of excitement, his eyes gleaming. On the other hand, a tenderness shone in his eyes, spurred by Xiao Yan's presence. After thousands of years, he was finally leaving this damned Ancient Emperor's Cave. When will the Soul Clan arrive? Zhu Kun couldn't help but ask Uchiha Madara. Every second felt like torture to him. As for the late stage 9-star Daosheng Soul Emperor and early stage 9-star Daosheng Void Devouring Flame mentioned by Madara, Zhu Kun himself didn't even consider them. Not to mention, he now had a great god like Uchiha Madara to suppress him. Uchiha Madara opened his eyes and glanced at Zhu Kun. That depends on the Soul Clan's abilities, Zhu Kun said bitterly. The Soul Clan is truly pathetic. It's already been 3 days, and why are the world's greatest clan moving so slowly? If it were my Taixu Ancient Dragon Clan, we could have searched the entire Dou Qi continent in a single day. Zhu Kun's words weren't false. The Taixu Ancient Dragon Clan were indeed far more formidable than the Soul Clan in terms of spatial travel or simply traveling. Ban, on the other hand, remained calm. 3 days had passed, and the Soul Clan should have already searched most of the Soul Clan's territory. The Blackhorn region was likely one of the few areas the Soul Clan hadn't explored. If he was right, the Soul Clan would arrive soon. Sure enough, just as this thought formed, Ban felt a massive Dou Qi force surge towards the Blackhorn region. Here they come, Ban said, standing up. Finally, a dazzling light gleamed in the depths of Zhu Kun's majestic purple gold eyes. His massive body rose to its feet, gazing expectantly at the summit of the Magna world. I imagine the Soul Emperor would be delighted to discover Ban and Zhu Kun, 2 supremely powerful beings no less powerful than himself, waiting for him. In the Blackhorn region, the sky was shrouded in a dark cloud. At that moment, the very world seemed to darken. A monstrous, terrifying aura emanated from the dark cloud, causing countless people in the Blackhorn region to tremble. The dark cloud moved closer and closer, and a vast array of figures roared out from it. The Soul Emperor led the way, with Void Devouring Flame standing beside him. The 4 Soul Clan Demon Saints, each with the strength of an 8-star Daosheng, followed behind. followed by hundreds of thousands of Daoshengs and Daozun. For the Blackhorn region, whose peak strength was merely Daozang, any single attack from this vast army of Soul Clan warriors could utterly sweep across the region. As the dark cloud appeared, a similarly violent spatial fluctuation occurred in another direction of the sky, and a similarly overwhelming array of figures emerged. Gu Yun, a late-stage 9-star Daosheng, led the charge, followed by the chiefs of the Flame, Thunder, and Medicine tribes. Following them were hundreds of thousands of Daoshengs and Daozun. It could be argued that perhaps 80% of the Daosheng powerhouses in the entire Dou Qi continent were present. This was understandable. Losing this battle would be irreparable for both the Soul Clan and the Ancient Flame, Thunder, and Medicine tribes. Given this, they must give it their all. If the Soul Emperor truly ascended to the Dao Emperor realm, then any resistance from the 4 tribes would be futile. Above the sky, the Soul Emperor slowly stepped out, his gaze fleetingly glancing at the 4-tribe coalition before finally resting on Gu Yun. Gu Yun, surrender to me now, and I'll spare your life. If you surrender to me, after I've ascended to Dao Di, I won't show you the slightest mercy. For the sake of the ancient clan's survival, I advise you to reconsider. Gu Yun couldn't help but sneer. Without responding to the Soul Emperor, he raised his hand and waved it down. Suddenly, countless powerful auras erupted from the coalition forces, his piercing gaze fixed directly on the entire Soul Clan army. Upon seeing this, the Soul Emperor sighed softly, feigning regret, and said nothing more. A brilliant ball of light flew out of his ring, hovering above his head. A shimmer of light rippled within it, transforming into an ethereal, aged figure. With the appearance of this elderly figure, the energy of the universe suddenly surged, and a powerful pressure, like that of the ruler of heaven and earth, descended from the sky. Tuo's ancient emperor. Everyone, including Gu Yun, looked grim as they gazed at the old man with magnificent long hair. Perhaps only the legendary Tuo's ancient emperor could possess such a terrifying aura. The Soul Emperor intends to use the Tuo's ancient emperor jade to summon the ancient emperor cave. Gu Yun's eyes flashed, and he understood the Soul Emperor's intention. Boom. Picking up the Tuo's ancient emperor jade, the Soul Emperor slammed his palm down upon Cannon Academy below. As the Soul Emperor's palm struck, a massive hand, several thousand feet in radius, appeared in the sky and slammed heavily upon the academy. I'm assuming here that Cannon Academy has been evacuated. I won't go into details. Suddenly, a wave of dust rapidly spread outward, and a resounding rumble echoed throughout the heavens and earth. Under the Soul Emperor's palm, the vast Cannon Academy was transformed into a vast abyss thousands of feet deep. Within that abyss, the sound of flowing liquid suddenly emanated, and streams of crimson magma gushed out from the ruins. Stop them. Don't let the Soul Emperor use the ancient jade to summon the ancient emperor's cave mansion. Gu Yun shouted in a deep voice, gazing at the expanding sea of magma. Attack. Suddenly, countless powerful Dou Qi erupted from the coalition forces behind Gu Yun, sweeping towards the Soul Clan army. Form a formation. Seeing the coalition forces launch their attack, countless shouts erupted from the Soul Clan army as well. Layers of black mist intertwined, forming a black net. Bang, bang, bang. Vast beams of Dou Qi continuously bombarded the Soul Clan's chain formation. Pitiful screams rang out, and the black mist surrounding the chains rapidly faded. The Soul Emperor didn't even glance at the fierce battle between the two sides, instead controlling the ancient jade to sense the ancient emperor's cave mansion hidden deep within the magma. Seeing this, Gu Yun moved, and a massive palm print struck the Soul Emperor. Gu Yun, let me meet you first. As soon as Gu Yun made a move, Void Devouring Flame did the same. A huge hand with black flames collided head-on with Gu Yun's attack. Gu Yun's eyes turned cold, and his vast fighting spirit rushed towards Void Devouring Flame, wanting to quickly end this battle. However, he had to admit that he could not defeat Void Devouring Flame in a short time, as he was already in the early stage of the 9-star Daosheng and the Emperor Realm Soul. As time flowed, an extremely huge vortex appeared in the countless magma below. Suddenly, everyone's attention was drawn to it. The ancient emperor's cave mansion will finally see the light of day again. P.S. For the first update, 4,000 words a day is indeed a bit too little. How about 3 chapters of 6,000 words a day in the future? Chapter 181. Dragon Emperor Zhu Kun Ancient Clan and Ancient Yuan Soul Clan Soul Emperor. Underground, the Ancient Emperor's Cave. A rumbling sound echoed, and the Ancient Emperor's cave flew upwards at a rapid speed, as if being pulled by something. Uchiha Madara and Zhu Kun exchanged a glance and nodded. The Ancient Emperor's cave had been born. Zhu Kun was eager to fight. After thousands of years, he, Zhu Kun, was finally about to make a comeback. Old dragon, you just said you could take on two at once. Madara asked calmly as the Ancient Emperor's cave flew at high speed. The old dragon had just said that, after all, he had thousands of years of combat experience, and taking on two at once was no problem. Of course, Zhu Kun said confidently. Okay, then I won't attack for now. I'll wait until you're down before I attack. Zhu Kun. He was just bragging, but why did he take it so seriously? The vast sea of magma suddenly began to surge. A massive vortex, thousands of feet across, slowly formed in front of the magma sea. At the end of the vortex, as if something had emerged, a strange wave rippled between heaven and earth. At that moment, many faces flashed with shock. Bang! A sudden roar echoed from the sky, and three figures retreated in panic. The deathly aura lingering around two of them nearly dissipated. Even the slightly better prepared void devouring flames aura was extremely turbulent. Even 3 against 1, facing Dou Huang, a late stage 9-star Dou Sheng and the pinnacle of the Dou Qi continent. They were powerless. The black flames and void devouring flames eyes rippled, a flicker of resentment flashing across them. He hadn't expected that even with his ascended soul realm, he still couldn't stand up to Dou Huang. Not far from the three, Dou Huang also appeared. If void devouring flame hadn't already reached the emperor realm, he would have slain the other two on the spot. However, he understood that the void devouring flame and the other two, despite their all-out efforts, were merely a temporary deterrent. Soul Emperor. Dou Huang raised his head, gazing at the Soul Emperor controlling the two-osh ancient Emperor Jade. A cold glint flashed in his eyes, and he took a single step, appearing behind the Soul Emperor. The tides of heaven and earth surged wildly in an instant, transforming into a massive palm that slammed down upon the Soul Emperor. Boom. Facing Dou Huang's attack, the Soul Emperor merely smiled faintly, then blasted a punch that shattered the void, seemingly easily blocking Dou Huang's attack. It's too late, Dou Huang. Next, wait for the two-osh ancient Emperor's cave to emerge, the Soul Emperor declared. Hearing the Soul Emperor's words, Dou Huang's expression darkened. He glanced down at the lava sea below. The vortex in the center of the lava sea suddenly expanded tenfold. Bang, bang. As the vortex expanded, a 1,000-foot-long column of lava flame erupted from the sea, blanketing the sky. The terrifying heat and impact caused casualties on both the Soul Clan and the coalition forces. Emperor Hun Xian gazed at the lava sea, the joy in his eyes growing ever more intense. He could sense the two-osh ancient Emperor Jade in his hand growing ever hotter. A massive bulge of lava began to rise abnormally from the surface of the lava sea, the crimson lava rapidly spreading in all directions. As the lava dispersed, an ancient stone gate, towering over heaven and earth, slowly rose from the lava. Above the massive stone gate, the lava quickly receded, and an ancient, wild aura suddenly filled the world. Under that aura, all things were silent. Even Emperor Hun Xian and Dou Huang, both late-stage 9-star Dou Shengs, felt a sense of fear. It was an aura that surpassed even that of a Dou Sheng. Countless gazes throughout the heavens and earth were fixed on the massive stone gate, fixed on the 4 colossal characters on it. Ancient Emperor's Cave. Emperor Hun Xian's eyes instantly shone with a startling light. Even with his fortitude, seeing these 4 words, which he had pursued for millennia, could not help but surge with emotion. Finally, I found you. Ha 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 ha. Soul Emperor muttered to himself, finally unable to help but roar with laughter that echoed between heaven and earth like thunder. It felt quite like the wild laughter of the Uchiha clan. Is this the legendary ancient Emperor's Cave? Dou Huang was also a little dazed at this moment. With his keen eyes, he could easily tell that this was no fake artifact, but a true Dou Emperor relic. Only the legendary Dou Emperor's belongings could stir such a sense of utter terror in him. In the sky, Soul Emperor took several deep breaths, suppressing the turbulent emotions within him. He slowly raised the two-osh ancient Emperor Jade in his hand. The jade shimmered and the massive stone door, sealed for 10,000 years, showed signs of opening. Seeing this, Sol Emperor was overjoyed. However, before he could further open the stone door, a figure flashed over and grabbed the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade in his hand. HMPH. Gu Yuan. You're trying to snatch the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade from me now? Do you think I'll give you that chance? Sol Emperor snorted coldly. Even at this point, Gu Yuan continued to obstruct him, which truly annoyed him. Want to open the cave? How could I let you do that so easily? Gu Yuan sneered back. His figure flashed, following Sol Emperor like a shadow, not allowing him even a moment to calm down, and opened the Ancient Emperor cave. You. Seeing Gu Yuan's persistence, Sol Emperor's eyes suddenly filled with murderous intent. His strength was on par with Gu Yuan's. If Gu Yuan persisted in holding him, he would be completely distracted. Sol Emperor and Gu Yuan collided at high speed like two streams of light, colliding thousands of times in an instant. At this moment, the calm magma sea suddenly surged into a vast sea of water, followed by a thunderous dragon roar that resounded throughout the world. At the moment of this roar, Gu Yuan and Han Xiandi's expressions changed. This aura was even slightly stronger than that of their late stage 9-star Daosheng's. Ha ha ha. This emperor has finally seen the light of day. A fierce aura that would have chilled the hearts of thousands of Daoshengs soared into the sky. A massive body covered in purple gold scales emerged from the sea of magma. Gu Yuan and Han Xiandi's expressions instantly changed. Even with their limited vision, they couldn't fathom what this creature was. Are you the two who want to enter the Ancient Emperor's cave? Haha, take my attack first. Zhu Kun transformed into a middle-aged figure in purple gold robes. He raised his arms, and two massive purple gold pillars of light, several thousand feet in size, blasted head-on at Gu Yuan and Han Xiandi. In front of the gate, Uchiha Madara looked up at the sky, his body a little disembodied. This illusion wasn't his own will. If he was right, he would be transported to the next world shortly after this battle. This is the last battle. I hope he will enjoy it to the fullest. PS. Starting tomorrow, there will be 3 updates per day. Chapter 180 to enter. Gu Yuan and Sol Emperor watched Zhu Kun unleashed a pillar of purple gold light upon them without further ado, their eyes fixed intently. Gu Yuan waved his hand, unleashing an equally massive pillar of white light, while Sol Emperor responded with a similarly massive pillar of black light. The 3 immensely powerful attacks collided, instantly confirming that Zhu Kun was a late-stage 9-star Daosheng, a formidable figure no less powerful than themselves. Sol Emperor snorted grimly, and the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade in his hand erupted with a brilliant beam of light. The beam descended from the sky, striking the ancient stone gate. The longer the delay, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. After his earlier concentration, he had already pushed the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade to its full potential. Boom. As the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade's massive beam descended, the ancient gate, sealed for a millennia, slowly began to wriggle, cracks appearing. The cracks widened, and after a moment, the ancient stone gate creaked and slid open. The moment the ancient stone gate opened, a powerful wave of ancient origin suddenly swept out from behind it. The Soul Clan army and the coalition of the 4 clans felt as if struck by a devastating blow, their formations thrown into disarray. Even a warrior as powerful as a Daozun was repelled thousands of feet by this powerful wave. The ancient emperor's cave is about to open, Gu Yuan whispered, his gaze fixed on the slowly opening ancient gate, his palms wet with sweat. Zhu Kun paused at this moment, partly because he knew that fighting both Gu Yuan, the ancient clan leader, and Han Xiandi, the Soul Clan leader, both of whom were comparable in strength, alone would be a challenge. Furthermore, having been trapped outside the ancient emperor's cave for thousands of years, he had repeatedly imagined its true opening, and so he was a bit distracted. Meanwhile, Uchiha Madara sensed a breath of something like the very essence of heaven and earth from within the depths of the ancient emperor's cave the moment it opened. At the same time, Madara discovered another ability, the ability to enter the Chakravatin world of his Chakravatin clone, rendering him invisible to the outside world. Had he not carefully tried, he would have been completely oblivious. Madara glanced at his palm, which was becoming increasingly ethereal. He withdrew his gaze. This time, he was determined to become a Daudi. The lingering vibrations grew stronger as the ancient gate opened. except for those above the 7-star Dao Sheng level or possessing emperor level souls. The Soul Clan and the coalition of the remaining 4 clans were forced to retreat far away. The only people present were Gu Yun, Soul Emperor, Void Devouring Flame, Zhu Kun, and Madara, who was hidden in the Chakravatin world. Zhu Kun looked around and felt a little puzzled when he didn't see Uchiha Madara, but he wasn't worried about him. With Madara's strength, even if he joined forces with Gu Yun, Soul Emperor, 3 late-stage 9-star Dao Shengs, they would still end in failure. Uchiha Madara's current power completely surpassed that of a Dao Sheng. If it weren't for the primordial imperial energy, Zhu Kun would have suspected Uchiha Madara was a Dao Di. Do you know what's inside this ancient emperor's cave? Zhu Kun asked, watching the ancient stone gate gradually open. I'm not sure, but I know the contents can allow one to ascend to the Dao Di realm. Seeing Zhu Kun cease his attacks, Gu Yuan attempted to respond. It can indeed allow one to ascend to the Dao Di realm. Inside that cave is an emperor grade young pill. If my suspicions are correct, then Soul Heaven Emperor is aiming for it, because with it, he could very well ascend to the Dao Di realm, Zhu Kun said. Gu Yuan's expression was slightly moved by this. If it was an emperor grade young pill, it could indeed possess such incredible power. But at the same time, his expression grew even more solemn. Soul Heaven Emperor must not be allowed to obtain the emperor grade young pill. Otherwise, given his character, he would certainly not abandon the remaining 8 ancient clans. Zhu Kun stared at the gate, wondering if he had any chance of obtaining the emperor grade young pill. He was well aware of the terrifying power of a Dao Di. When he entered the ancient emperor's cave, Tuo's ancient emperor had long since perished. Yet, he had been trapped for millennia in the space left behind by Tuo's ancient emperor's death. This, he realized, made him realize that before a true Dao Di, even a late-stage 9-star Dao Sheng was nothing more than a larger ant. However, after some reflection, Zhu Kun couldn't help but chuckle. With Uchiha Madara here, there was no way he could obtain this emperor grade Hatling pill. While he didn't know why Uchiha Madara hadn't emerged yet, he knew this clearly. The ripples emanating from the massive ancient stone gate grew increasingly ferocious, reaching a level that would force even an 8-star Dao Sheng to retreat. With a resounding sound, the massive gate stabilized. Bang! Just as the ancient gate fully opened, a wave of energy, as if emanating from prehistoric times, suddenly surged forth. The entire magma sea exploded in a raging sea of waves. The earth trembled, and countless abysses 1,000 feet deep opened. The next moment, spatial fluctuations rippled, and a seemingly transparent passage formed within the massive gate. The moment the passage appeared, Uchiha Madara stepped through. Following suit, Gu Yun, Zhu Kun, Soul Emperor, and Void Devouring Flame also rushed in. A battle over the ancient emperor's cave residence was about to unfold. A faint mist enveloped this strange space, shrouding it in a hazy haze. Silence reigned, as if it had been quiet for tens of thousands of years. Then, the hazy space suddenly warped, and a vast spatial passage emerged. Uchiha Madara was the first to descend, but the vastness of space was endless, and he had no idea where to go. Madara then disappeared into the Wheelgrave world. With absolute power and everything under control, he felt no need to rush. Soon, Gu Yun, Soul Emperor, Zhu Kun, and Void Devouring Flame also appeared within the Dao Emperor's cave residence. Because Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame stood together, Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun could only form a temporary alliance. Don't delay with them. Let's go, Void Devouring Flame said, his gaze turning towards this space. He took the lead and rushed off into the distance, with Emperor Hunshan hurriedly following behind. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara, hidden in the Wheelgrave world, as well as Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun were all very surprised. How Void Devouring Flame knew the way to the ancient emperor's cave was a question. But at this moment, they had no time to think about it and quickly followed. PS. Chapter 1. 2000/6000. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Strange Fire Square. Several people raced through this vast boundless force space, like meteor showers streaking across the sky. This streak lasted for nearly 10 minutes before Void Devouring Flame and Soul Emperor, at the forefront, gradually slowed down. After they did, Dou Yuan and Zhu Kun quickly caught up. Uchiha Madara, needless to say, despite being in the wheel grade dimension, kept pace with Void Devouring Flame. Madara gazed at the ancient stone temple that appeared on the vast plain before him, his eyes gleaming. This must be their final destination. The stone temple stood silently upon the boundless plain, an ancient aura emanating from it, resonating throughout the heavens and earth. In front of the stone temple lay an immense plaza. On either side, towering pillars thousands of feet tall, towering heavenward, a majestic aura washed over them. Uchiha Madara slowly descended upon the plaza, the rustling sound of his footsteps echoing softly on the stone. The square was vast, and Madara walked in its very center. Like an ant stalking the desert, it was impossible to see the end. Behind him, two other factions were also marching along the square. However, by some tacit agreement, Dou Yuan and Zhu Kun, and Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame, were walking on the left and right sides, respectively. Uchiha Madara paused as he walked. He tilted his head and gazed at the top of a stone pillar not far ahead. There, a ball of deep yellow flame rose. Madara could tell instantly that this flame was a strange fire, and if his guess was correct, it was a Dou Huang flame, ranked 23rd on the strange fire list. How can this strange fire be so weak? Then, Madara frowned slightly. It was indeed the Dou Huang flame, but it looked incredibly weak, as if all the power within the strange fire had been drained away. Swish. As Uchiha Madara hesitated, flames suddenly condensed at his shoulders, and a mass appeared on his shoulders. This place looks familiar. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara pondered for a moment. A mass was a collection of various strange fires. If she said this place was familiar, it was likely that these strange fires originally existed in this square. Combined with the familiarity Void Devouring Flame had shown earlier, his hypothesis was quite plausible. Uchiha Madara continued walking. Less than 100 feet ahead, another towering stone pillar appeared, atop which a flame also rose. 10,000 Beast Spirit Fire, ranked 22nd on the strange fire list. Gazing at the rising red flame, faintly resembling the shapes of 10,000 beasts, Uchiha Madara slowly exhaled, his eyes flickering. Then, looking forward, his pace quickened considerably. After another 100 feet, another stone pillar appeared, also emitting a different kind of strange fire. However, none of these fires possessed much power, appearing like mere decoration. However, Uchiha Madara, an expert on exotic fires, understood that these fires weren't fabrications, but genuine ones, the very source of them. These exotic fires. Behind Uchiha Madara, Dou Yuan and Zhu Kun watched the scene with astonishment. The further we go, the higher the ranking of the exotic fires seems to be. Dou Yuan said. Let's hurry. Like Uchiha Madara, Dou Yuan and Zhu Kun quickened their pace. Ahead, as Madara walked, towering stone pillars appeared one after another. Rising from these pillars the exotic fires ranked high on the exotic fire rankings. Among these exotic fires, Xiao Yan also saw the very familiar Azure Lotus Earth Core Fire, the Fallen Heart Flame, the Sea Heart Flame, and the Bone Spirit Cold Fire. I didn't expect this ancient Emperor Tuosh to be so fond of collecting exotic fires. Even Dou Yuan couldn't help but sigh when he saw the 8 Desolate Destruction Flame, ranked 6th on the exotic fire rankings, appear. I wonder if the legendary top 3 strange fires on the strange fire list are also found here? Dou Yuan asked. With the Pure Lotus Demon Fire and the Void Devouring Flame now in the hands of Uchiha Madara, and the other in human form aiding the Soul Clan, he was curious. Could the ancient Emperor Tuosh possibly obtain a second Pure Lotus Demon Fire or Void Devouring Flame? 2 waves of troops raced across the vast square. After a moment, everyone came to a sudden halt. The square was gradually reaching its end. After the Golden Emperor's Burning Heaven Flame, ranked 4th on the strange fire list, appeared, 2 towering stone pillars appeared. Gazing at the 2 particularly massive stone pillars, everyone's gaze instantly turned to their summits. However, this time, no strange fires rose. The tops of the stone pillars were unusually empty. The expected Pure Lotus Demon Fire and Void Devouring Flame were nowhere to be found. This meant that these two fires appeared to be absent from Tuo's ancient emperor's collection. Seeing this, everyone sighed softly, seeming to feel a touch of regret. These are the last two stone pillars. It seems that even Tuo's ancient emperor cannot obtain the legendary fire rank number 1 on the list of strange fires. Looking at the end of the square behind the two stone pillars, Dou Yuan said with some emotion. Uchiha Madara glanced at Void Devouring Flame, and seeing Void Devouring Flame's complex, human-like expression, Madara confirmed his thoughts. It's not that Tuo's ancient emperor didn't collect the Pure Lotus Demon Fire and Void Devouring Flame, it's that they both escaped from here. Where's the Imperial Grade Hatchling Pill? Soul Heaven Emperor asked, looking at Void Devouring Flame. Void Devouring Flame turned his head, gazing at the end of the square. The stone hall there was now shrouded in thick fog, obscuring the view of the surrounding scenery. Huaha! Zhu-Wu-29 opened his mouth and a suction force burst out, directly swallowing up the diffuse fog into his body. As the fog dissipated, a huge shadow suddenly enveloped the square. Everyone hurriedly looked up, but was shocked to see that a stone statue that was 10,000 feet tall had suddenly appeared in their eyes. The appearance of this stone statue was no longer unfamiliar to everyone. It was none other than Tuo's ancient emperor. The stone statue stood between heaven and earth, emitting a powerful aura, as if it was descending upon heaven and earth. Uchiha Madara's gaze turned to one place, and he felt an aura that was several times more powerful than that of a late-stage 9-star Daosheng. PS. Second update, 4000/6000. Chapter 184, Imperial Grade Young Pill. Madara appeared inside through the thick fog. First, in that direction, hundreds of brilliant balls of light appeared. Within these scrolls, he sensed a powerful spirituality rivaling that of heavenly grade techniques or fighting skills. Hundreds of heavenly grade techniques and fighting skills, a treasure trove so vast that even those present were 9-star Daoshengs could not help but intensify their aura. Even the most powerful of the 8 ancient clans, the Ancient and Soul clans, possessed only 10 heavenly grade techniques and fighting skills at most. Hundreds of these techniques and fighting skills were simply unimaginable. However, what caught Madara's attention more was the figure behind the brilliant balls of light. He sensed the aura of an elixir and a powerful spirituality within them. If he was correct, this was the Imperial Grade Hatchling Pill. However, the spirituality of this Imperial Grade Hatchling Pill was terrifyingly high. This space hasn't been this bustling in ages. Suddenly, a faint old voice echoed from the sky, echoing in everyone's ears. The sudden, aged voice startled everyone, and their gazes quickly shifted, finally settling on the stone statue's shoulder. There, an elderly figure stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze indifferently observing the crowd below, as if he were observing an ant. Tuo's ancient emperor. Upon catching sight of the elderly man in simple robes, Dou Yuan and the others were speechless with shock. The latter looked exactly like the stone statue, and his unique, brilliant long hair was unparalleled. The ancient emperor isn't dead yet? Staring blankly at the elderly man, whose aura emanated an aura of supreme power that towered over heaven and earth, a deeply horrifying thought welled up in some minds. What's going on? Soul Emperor's expression turned grim. He looked at Void Devouring Flame and said gravely. He had indeed sensed a palpitating aura from the old man. This aura belonged to Tuo's ancient emperor. It was far stronger than that of a late-stage 9-star Daosheng himself. Void Devouring Flame raised his head, staring intently at the old man. After a moment, he suddenly spoke. He's not Tuo's ancient emperor. He's the Emperor Grade Young Pill. Upon hearing this, Soul Emperor, Dou Yuan, and the others were startled. A strange glint flashed in their eyes, and they slowly locked onto the old man. Void Devouring Flame, what are you doing? The old man on the stone statue was also taken aback and shouted angrily. What am I doing? Hearing his furious outburst, Void Devouring Flame frowned. Arsehole, if I hadn't helped you break free from your bonds with the Pure Lotus demonic fire, how could you have escaped? You promised me back then to rescue me too, the Emperor Grade Young Pill shouted sternly. Hearing his shout, everyone present shuddered, their eyes turning to Void Devouring Flame in astonishment. He had actually been trapped here? Void Devouring Flame's expression changed, his brow furrowed. He pondered for a moment, still unable to recall the entire incident. He could only say calmly, I'm sorry, I don't remember what you said, but At this point, he paused, then gave a strange smile. But this time, I'm here to rescue Cheng. Come with me. Meanwhile, Emperor Grade Young Pill's expression suddenly changed for the worse. After a moment, as if a thought had occurred to him, he looked at the stone statue of the ancient Emperor Tuosh and muttered through gritted teeth, "Is this your method? Come with us," Void Devouring Flame said, gazing at the Emperor Grade Young Pill. "HMPH, I'm afraid it's me you want," said the Emperor Grade Young Pill, sneering at Void Devouring Flame. Void Swallowing Flame smiled, then his expression quickly darkened. He declared, "Attack." Bang. As soon as he finished speaking, the Soul Emperor suddenly erupted, a surge of Dou Qi spreading out, transforming into a tidal wave that fiercely blasted towards the Imperial Grade Young Pill. A mere trifle. Seeing this, the Imperial Grade Young Pill sneered. With a flick of his finger, the oncoming tidal wave of energy was shattered. This Imperial Grade Young Pill is extremely difficult to deal with. Let's capture it first, to prevent the Soul Emperor from getting it. Seeing the Soul Emperor's move, Zhu spoke in a deep voice. "Well, you watch out for the rest of the Soul Clan." Gu Yuan nodded, and the two of them soared out. Suddenly, the energy of the world erupted in a violent rage, with waves of earth-shattering force continuously attacking the Imperial Grade Young Pill. Yet, facing the onslaught of Soul Emperor, Void Devouring Flame, Zhu and Gu Yuan, Emperor Grade Hatling remained unfazed. With every gesture, a heart-pounding vibration emanated, blocking the attacks of the four. Though seemingly unharmed, he was momentarily paralyzed. Uchiha Madara's gaze flickered slightly. This Dou Qi continent was truly fascinating. Whether it was strange fire or elixirs, upon reaching a certain level of strength, they could transform into form, and even become top-tier experts. From his perspective, he could tell that Zhu and the other three wouldn't be able to defeat the Emperor Grade Hatling alone. However, as the final villain, the Soul Clan should have some solutions. And indeed, it turned out, just as Uchiha Madara had anticipated. Emperor Grade Hatling palm. In the sky, Emperor Grade Hatling's eyes fluttered open, his figure suddenly soaring into the air. He then pressed his palm down upon the four men below. The instant his palm struck, a brilliant ball of light, roughly the size of a human head, suddenly emerged. Bang, bang, bang. With the appearance of this brilliant ball of light, the energy between heaven and earth suddenly erupted. Looking out, the boundless sky was filled with blazing flames, as if the very world had become a furnace. Witnessing the might of Emperor Grade Shudan's palm strike, even Gu Yuan and the others' expressions changed drastically, their internal fighting spirits hastily mobilizing. The icy look on Emperor Grade Shudan's face deepened as he pressed his hands down. Suddenly, the flames between heaven and earth roared down at an astonishing speed. In a split second, the boundless flames that filled the world were absorbed into the brilliant ball of light held by Emperor Grade Shudan's hands. Pinch. With his palms pressed down, the world darkened. Only the ball of light in Emperor Grade Shudan's palms shone with a destructive glow. The light ball squirmed, and finally, it roared down. In less than half a breath, it had descended upon Gu Yuan and the other three. Raw. Faced with such a terrifying attack, even Gu Yuan and his companions sensed a strong sense of danger. Simultaneously, a vast and boundless Dou Qi surged, quickly forming their strongest defense. Bang, bang. The ball of light slammed heavily into the Dou Qi defenses above the four. With a mere earth-shattering roar, a destructive wave of force erupted as four figures plummeted from the sky, landing fiercely on the plain, creating a chasm thousands of feet deep. To be continued. P.S. I learned a tactic from Rebirth. Urban cultivation. Suppress before you exalt. If I'm not mistaken, you're all eagerly anticipating the appearance of Death Spot while thinking about Duan Zhangao. Don't worry, it's tomorrow. Within 3 days, Doupio will be complete. Chapter 185 Chapters 192 to 193 Madara appears and suppresses the enemy with a snap of his fingers. In the Wheelgrave world, Uchiha Madara sighed slightly as he watched the Imperial Hinadan's attack crush four men in a head-on collision. For a medicinal elixir, the Imperial Hinadan's performance was truly astonishing. Madara was fine, merely surprised. But for Gu Yuan, Zhu, Soul Emperor, and Void Devouring Flame, the blow had left their faces drastically pale. Each of them was considered one of the most powerful beings in the universe, yet even combined, they were still beaten to such a state by the Imperial Hinadan. The Imperial Hinadan hovered in the sky, its gaze coldly fixed on the several thousand-foot abysses on the plain below. There, 4 rays of light rose up, somewhat awkwardly, splitting into 2 camps, staring at each other from afar. "You're still a little short of what it takes to refine me," the Imperial Hinadan said calmly, glancing at the 4. "Isn't your joy premature?" Just as Emperor Grade Young Pill finished his words, Void Devouring Flame suddenly sneered. He then turned his head to look at Soul Heaven Emperor, and said in a deep voice, "Give me the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade." Upon hearing this, Soul Heaven Emperor was startled. After a moment's hesitation, he decisively took out the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade, and tossed it to Void Devouring Flame. Seizing the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade, Void Devouring Flame smiled grimly at Emperor Grade Young Pill. Suddenly, he bit his tongue, spurting a mouthful of black blood tinged with black flames onto the ancient jade. At this moment, his hands suddenly formed a series of extremely strange hand seals. But, as Void Devouring Flame's hand seals rapidly shifted, the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade before him suddenly began to vibrate with a buzzing sound. Then, a soft light emanated, and as the ancient jade trembled, it transformed into a dazzling halo of light. The halo shone in a variety of colors, and it seemed as if flames were dancing within it, a truly mysterious sight. The Danhua Ring. How could you possibly possess the Danhua divine art of Tuosh Ancient Emperor? Upon seeing the halo take shape, the once stoic Emperor Tuden's expression suddenly changed, his voice becoming shrill. Void Devouring Flame sneered, but offered no explanation. With a flick of his hand, the brilliant halo shot forth, appearing above Emperor Tuden's head in a matter of moments. Circles of brilliant fire emerged, completely enveloping him. As these flaming halos continuously enveloped him, wisps of white smoke suddenly emanated from Emperor Tuden's body, and a shrill scream suddenly rang out. Seeing this, Void Devouring Flame's eyes were filled with surprise. He had clearly not anticipated the Dan Transformation Ring's ability to so effectively counter the Imperial Grade Young Pill. He immediately unleashed a burst of black flames laced with black blood onto the Dan Transformation Ring, causing the flames to intensify. The Imperial Grade Young Pill began to slowly shrink, even showing signs of transforming into a pill. Seeing the once dignified Imperial Grade Young Pill suddenly reduced to such a state of disarray, Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun's expressions changed, a fierce gleam in their eyes. With a flash of their bodies, they charged directly towards Void Devouring Flame. It seemed that Void Devouring Flame's ability to unleash the so-called Dan Transformation Ring was likely due to the power of the Tuosh Ancient Emperor Jade. HMPH. Seeing the two men engage in battle, the prepared Soul Heavenly Emperor snorted coldly. He moved, appearing before them, and with a flick of his fingers, several pills, each emitting a rich, fragrant aroma, flew towards Gu Yuan and the others, before exploding with a bang. Boom boom. A surge of energy surged, forcing Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun to a halt. They sneered, self-detonating a 9th grade precious elixir, truly a grand gesture. As soon as they finished speaking, they appeared before the Soul Emperor, one on each side, launching a fierce attack that enveloped him. Bang bang. Facing the combined attack of Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun, the Soul Emperor was immediately at a disadvantage, appearing quite awkward as he advanced and retreated. However, he understood the current situation, and gritted his teeth, exerting his full strength to the utmost, desperately trying to stop Gu Yuan and the others. Get out. After the struggle, a fierce look welled up in Zhu Kun's eyes. With a fierce roar, a massive dragon, nearly tens of thousands of feet across the sky, suddenly appeared. The dragon transformed into a purple gold beam, and with lightning speed, it slammed into the Soul Emperor, who had just exchanged a hard blow with Gu Yuan. Puff! A brilliant purple gold beam of light pierced through the powerful Dou Qi defenses on the surface of Soul Emperor's body, and slammed into him fiercely. A mouthful of blood spurted out of the Soul Emperor's mouth, and he was sent flying backwards for thousands of feet before finally catching himself. Collect. As Soul Emperor retreated, Void Swallowing Flame shouted fiercely. The Imperial Great Embryonic Elixir was absorbed into the Danhua Ring without resistance, transforming into a brilliant ball of light the size of a human head, suspended within it. Witnessing this, Void Swallowing Flame was overjoyed. With a wave of his hand, the Danhu ring flew towards him at lightning speed. However, just as he was about to capture the Danhu ring, a figure suddenly appeared before him and grabbed it. The sudden change startled Void swallowing flame, and his eyes flickered as he looked at the disheveled Soul Emperor before him. Hand over the Imperial Grade Young Pill. In your current state, even with this void devouring flame, you're no match for us, Dou Yuan said, his face gloomy as he looked at Emperor Han Xian. Beside him, Zhu Kun clenched his fists and glared at Emperor Han Xian with a fierce expression. You want the Imperial Grade Young Pill? Emperor Han Xian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and tilted his head to gaze at the brilliant ball of light within the Danhu ring. The light resembled the Milky Way, as if all the energy in the universe were concentrated within it. Staring at the brilliant light, a strange smile crossed Emperor Han Xian's face. Then, before everyone's horrified gaze, he suddenly opened his mouth, intending to swallow the brilliant light. However, at this moment, a faint celestial sound rose in the air, and endless white feathers fell from the sky like a white rain. At the same time, Emperor Han Xian's form was completely frozen, and the brilliant light stopped in front of his mouth, unable to move forward even a little. Dou Yuan and Zhu Tunan stared at the scene in astonishment. What was going on? What had happened to the Soul Emperor? Zhu Kun's lips curled slightly, finally making his entrance. A white figure, resembling an immortal, appeared before the four. The pitch black immortal staff and 9 Dao seeking jade swirled around his back, emanating a destructive aura. His stern face held a detached air. Madara, here he is. Madara looked at the Soul Emperor and the Imperial Hina Pill. With a slight wave of his hand, the Imperial Hina Pill transformed into a brilliant ball of light, which flew to Madara's side. He flipped his hand and placed the ball of light into his storage ring. With a flick of his finger, the Soul Emperor's figure snapped back to life. Upon regaining consciousness, the Soul Emperor gazed at Uchiha Madara with a solemn expression. Although his body had been frozen, his consciousness had not. Only the Soul Emperor, who had personally experienced the freezing of his body, could understand the immense pressure exerted by Uchiha Madara. Who are you? Soul Emperor's lips tightened, his brow furrowed, his expression grim. He's the Uchiha Madara I told you about, Void Devouring Flame said beside Soul Emperor, his expression equally grim. You finally arrived. Old Dragon Zhu Kun smiled. The time had come for his two swords to combine and become unrivaled. Dou Yuan also clenched his teeth, wondering where Uchiha Madara had come from. I'm from the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Madara. Madara gently tapped the ground with his celestial staff, sending a powerful shockwave through everyone. While Zhu Kun and the other three were stunned, Madara gazed at the four. Soul Emperor had appeared just now, because he was about to consume the Imperial Hat-Cling Pill. Waiting for Soul Emperor to consume the Imperial Hat-Cling Pill, and then deriving its power from within him, was indeed a difficult proposition for Uchiha Madara. Moreover, if Madara was right, the final appearance of this so-called Soul Clan would likely be Soul Emperor, after he successfully refined the Imperial Hat-Cling Pill. However, he didn't have the luxury of waiting for Soul Emperor to refine the Imperial Hat-Cling Pill. Yes, I'm Uchiha Madara, the Uchiha Madara who destroyed your Soul Palace and stopped you from destroying the Medicine Clan, Madara admitted bluntly. Soul Emperor's face darkened. With these two events, their mortal feud was essentially irreconcilable. Dou Yuan, the Dragon Emperor of the Taixu Ancient Dragon Clan, has taken possession of the Imperial Hat-Cling Pill, and you're just going to stand by and watch. Soul Emperor attempted to mobilize Dou Yuan and Zhu Kun. Uchiha Madara's appearance had put him under immense pressure, and he didn't know how to handle it alone. Hey, Soul Clan brat, I think you've misunderstood something. We're in the same boat. With that, Zhu Kun instantly moved to Madara's side, gazing at Soul Emperor with a smile. The Soul Emperor's expression darkened. He likely couldn't defeat Uchiha Madara alone, and now with the Dragon Emperor on the other side, things were getting even more complicated. Dou Yuan, what about you? The Soul Emperor turned his gaze to the last person in the room, who hadn't yet made a clear statement. Dou Yuan glanced at Madara and Zhu Kun, then at the Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame. Dou Yuan, withdraw, Dou Yuan said in a deep voice after calm consideration. It was hard to tell how deep Uchiha Madara was, but judging by the power he had just displayed, his strength was probably close to that of an Imperial Hinadan. adding a dragon emperor of their strength. The saying a man of insight is a hero was precisely this. The Soul Emperor gritted his teeth, burning his soul and life. Vast clouds of black mist began to pour out recklessly. In this situation, he had to fight tooth and nail. The Soul Emperor's momentum continued to rise, soon reaching a level on par with the Imperial Hinadan he had just taken on for with ease. Success or death. If he won this battle, burning his life today, he would be the greatest winner in the future. If he couldn't defeat Uchiha Madara, even after burning his life, then he would have no chance of defeating him after his life had burned out, and his realm had fallen. His future would be certain death. With an absolute determination to die, Emperor Soul Heaven waved his sleeve, and a torrent of black mist rushed towards Uchiha Madara, its momentum stretching for 1,000 miles. Void devouring flame. Fight to the death. Emperor Soul Heaven shouted. Not only would he fight, but Void Devouring Flame would fight too. Only in this way could they both secure the greatest possible future. This roar shattered Void Devouring Flame's hopes of escaping and escaping. Void Devouring Flame's primordial fire suddenly contracted and then exploded, revealing that Void Devouring Flame itself had ignited its primordial fire. Void Devouring Flame. Void Devouring Flame shouted, and a torrent of black flames followed the black mist, charging towards Uchiha Madara. However, faced with this situation, Uchiha Madara simply extended his right arm, holding it upright, palm facing the two powerful attacks. 6 paths. Sealing seal. A rich white light instantly erupted, circles of white light radiating outward from Madara's palm. Powerful chakra waves enveloped the entire world. Seeing this, Dou Huang, Zhu, and the others were startled. What kind of move was this? Why hadn't they seen it before? A defensive move. In the brief moment of deliberation, the attacks of Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame collided with Madara's sealing seal. Black and white light enveloped the entire space, as if day and night had appeared simultaneously. However, this confrontation lasted only a moment before vanishing. The next moment, the white light continuously devoured the black light, and soon most of the sky was consumed by the white light. Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame's moves were completely useless against Madara's full strength sealing seal. Uchiha Madara's lips curled slightly. The next moment, a multiplied attack from Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame erupted from his palm, a black light once again engulfing the entire space. However, this time, the black light was emanating from Uchiha Madara, while Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame were the targets. Samsarai. Absorb and repel. Instantly, Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame's expressions changed drastically. Faced with such a powerful attack, they felt a profound sense of mortal threat. Dou Huang's expression was also solemn. If this attack was aimed at him, he would most likely be unable to block it. Zhu narrowed his eyes, not in great surprise. Uchiha Madara had already demonstrated strength far exceeding that of Elite Stage 9 Star Dao Sheng during their battle in the Ancient Emperor's Cave, so this time, Zhu wasn't surprised. Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame tried their best to defend against the attack, but no matter how hard they tried, the moment Madara's attack reached them, their countless layers of defense seemed to fail. With a powerful blow, Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame were sent flying. Madara retracted his arm. The power gap between the two was so great that a single move could determine the winner. P.S. 2 more chapters to come. 4000/6000. Chapter 186. First on the Strange Fire list, Emperor Yan. Soul Emperor was sent flying, his entire body covered in wounds. The powerful warriors of the Dou Qi continent are often weaker in defense than in attack. Furthermore, Uchiha Madara amplified Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame's full strength attack several times before repelling it. There was no way Soul Emperor could withstand such a powerful attack. Uchiha Madara approached Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame. Soul Emperor, I really hope you can become even more powerful. If possible, I'd give you the Imperial Hina pill. Unfortunately, time doesn't allow me to do that. You and I have some similarities. Perhaps in the future, I'll be like you, facing a tragic and desolate end, because my plan completely failed, and I was powerless to resist. As a villain, you must have this awareness. Goodbye, Uchiha Madara said, before a Yin-Tun thunderbolt instantly annihilated Soul Emperor's body and soul. Then, Uchiha Madara turned his gaze to Void Devouring Flame. Sir, I'm willing to do anything. I'm very useful. I know many secrets about the ancient Emperor Tush. Seeing Uchiha Madara looking at him, Void Devouring Flame instantly cried out for mercy, looking incredibly pitiful. Madara ignored Void Devouring Flame, and, with a wave of his right hand, an invisible blade instantly obliterated Void Devouring Flame's consciousness. He then successfully collected Void Devouring Flame's origin fire. Thus, the two greatest villains of the Duppo world, Soul Emperor and Void Devouring Flame, were officially finished. Uchiha Madara gazed at the origin fire of Void Devouring Flame in his palm. This origin fire contained several times more energy than the origin fire of the pure Lotus Demon Fire. By consuming this origin fire of Void Devouring Flame, and then the Embryo Emperor pill, he should be able to reach the Dou Emperor of this world. However, a doubt now arose in Uchiha Madara's heart. He knew that in this world's final event, the villain was Soul Emperor, who had refined the Embryo Emperor pill. But correspondingly, there must also be another party capable of possessing power comparable to that of a Dou Qi. So, how did this other party acquire power comparable to that of a Dou Qi? With this thought, Uchiha Madara approached Zhu-kun. Old dragon, you've spent the longest time in this Tuosh ancient emperor's cave. This elixir wouldn't be the only one he left behind, right? Uchiha Madara asked. Zhu-kun was undoubtedly the best person to ask right now. Having spent thousands of years in the Tuosh ancient emperor's cave, he knew a great deal about it. I was just about to tell you to try it. You're right. The most precious item in this Tuosh ancient emperor's cave isn't the prototype emperor pill. Zhu-kun stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the towering stone statue of the ancient emperor with a complicated gaze. Do you know the origins of Tuosh ancient emperor, or perhaps his identity? Upon hearing this, Uchiha Madara was startled, and shook his head. He truly didn't know. As far as I know, the ancient Emperor Tuosh is extremely mysterious, and no one knows his origins. Back then, the continent was also full of heroes, and many people at the top were trying their best to break through to the Dou Qi level, but in the end no one succeeded. It was at that time that the ancient Emperor Tuosh, who had been unknown, suddenly appeared. Dou Yuan appeared beside the two of them, with a pensive look on his face, recalling the extremely ancient records of his clan. It is said that when Tuosh ancient emperor was promoted to Dou Qi, two suns appeared in the sky, the heaven and earth collapsed, and an endless sea of fire fell from the sky, covering nearly half of the Dou Qi continent, which alarmed all the strong men at the time. And after experiencing the earth-shaking scene of being promoted to Dou Qi, Tuosh ancient emperor disappeared again. Moreover, it stands to reason that when he was promoted to the Dou Qi level, his family and those with the same blood as him should have activated the power of their blood in an instant, and their strength would have skyrocketed to a very terrifying level in a very short time. Those who enjoy the blood of the first generation of Dou Qi have the greatest benefits. Therefore, if a new ancient race appears, it will definitely cause a sensation in the Dou Qi continent, but this kind of thing did not happen. This means that Tuosh ancient emperor is very likely to have no clansmen. Dou Yuan looked at Zhu-kun and said, is there anything wrong with what I said? More or less the same. Zhu-kun put his hands behind his back, staring at the huge stone statue, and suddenly changed his tone and said, there are 23 kinds of strange fires on the strange fire list. They are the most powerful flames in the world. However, do you know what the name of the strange fire ranked first on the strange fire list is? There are 23 strange fires on the strange fire list, but the first position is blank. No one knows what the number one strange fire is, but what seems strange is that many alchemists have a kind of intuition that there should be something above the void devouring flame, but they don't know it. The number one strange fire is like a mystery, mysterious and unpredictable, and no one can see it. Senior Zhu-kun, do you know what the number one strange fire on the strange fire list is? Dou Yuan couldn't help but say. Hearing this, Zhu-kun's face showed a strange smile and said, in this world, where is there a number one strange fire? This answer once again made Dou Yuan stunned. He frowned and wanted to refute, but suddenly found that he seemed to have no idea what the number one ranked strange fire was. Could it be that the so-called number one strange fire was really just a legend? Everything in the world has its own spirit, and the same is true for strange fire. Zhu-kun said slowly. As far as I know, there was a strange fire that was born between heaven and earth. It took 1,000 years to take shape, 10,000 years to gather spirits, and 10,000 years to cultivate. In the dark, it has slightly mutated. As everyone knows, ordinary strange fires rarely leave the place of birth on their own initiative after they are formed, but this fire is different. After it has intelligence, it walks along the underground magma, wandering under the ground for 1,000 years, and living by swallowing fire. And the fires it swallows are all ranked on the strange fire list. It has eaten the 21 of them. This fire devours fire, knows how to seek good fortune and avoid danger, and prioritizes the weak. After it spent thousands of years and devoured 20 different strange fires, even the natural overlords among strange fires, such as the void devouring flame and the pure lotus demon fire, had no choice but to prostrate themselves before it. And the one who can devour other strange fires is the number one on the strange fire list. That strange fire, after its success, called itself the Emperor Flame, and then cultivated for another 1,000 years before it broke through the world. At this point, a complex look surged in Zhu-kun's eyes. After that Emperor Flame broke through the world, he also had another title on the Dou Qi continent. Taking a deep breath, Zhu-kun stared at the 1,000-foot tall stone statue of the ancient emperor in front of him. His soft murmur was like a thunderclap that exploded throughout the space. People at that time called him Tuosh Ancient Emperor. PS. The third update, 6000/6000. Tomorrow, there is basically a 50% probability that the world will change at the end. Then it will be a new week and a new beginning. Chapter 187 The Origin of the Emperor. Tuosh Ancient Emperor is the number one strange fire on the strange fire list. The noises in the strange fire square fell completely silent again. Gu Yuan's expression was unusually vivid, clearly stunned by this incredibly unbelievable news. Uchiha Madara was also astonished. He had thought that void devouring flame was a 9-star Daosheng, the pinnacle of fire. And yet, Tuosh Ancient Emperor, the last Dao Emperor of the Dou Qi continent, was also a strange fire. This world truly was a world of fire. So, the burning decree he had obtained was probably the technique used by Tuosh Ancient Emperor. Zhu-kun understood Gu Yuan's shock and remained silent, simply gazing up at the massive stone statue. Brother Zhu-kun, is that true? Gu Yuan's composure faded considerably with shock. He took several deep breaths. If we are to judge by age, you wouldn't even be my grandchildren. Who else on this Dou Qi continent knows these ancient stories better than I do? Zhu-kun said with a smile. Hearing this, Gu Yuan gave a wry smile. Zhu-kun had no reason to deceive him, so after the initial shock, he gradually accepted this hard to believe fact. But how does this relate to your promotion to Daodi? Gu Yuan asked, raising his eyes. There are two most precious things in the ancient emperor's cave. One is the emperor grade embryonic pill just now, and the other is. Speaking of this, Zhu-kun paused, his eyes fixed on the 10,000-foot tall stone statue in front of him, and said word by word, the emperor's origin left by the ancient emperor Tuosh. Where is the emperor's origin? How can we obtain this inherited power? Gu Yuan's face was also flashing with excitement, but as soon as the words came out of his mouth, he felt something was wrong, and immediately said hurriedly, Brother Zhu-kun and Mr. Ban, don't misunderstand, I'm just curious. I definitely don't have the strength to participate. You don't have to say that. If I could get the emperor's origin, I would not be polite. I would refine and absorb it long ago. Seeing this, Zhu-kun smiled bitterly and said, how could the inheritance of the ancient emperor Tuosh be obtained so easily? I have tried my best during this period, but got nothing. Gu Wu was stunned, hesitated, and said, I don't know where this emperor's origin is. Zhu-kun walked toward the stone statue, patted it, and said, it's inside, but no one can get in. Even if the two of us attacked with all our might, we couldn't shatter it. Gu Yuan felt it, and suddenly punched the statue hard. A muffled sound echoed, and Gu Yuan was sent flying backwards for hundreds of feet, before he managed to regain his balance. This stone statue is protected by the emperor's origin. Gu Yuan's face flashed with surprise. They hadn't discovered this special feature of the stone statue back in the ancient emperor's cave. HMM. Zhu-kun nodded, somewhat helplessly saying, the Emperor's origin is hidden within the stone statue, but we can't break it open and obtain it. There must be a special method. Gu Yuan frowned. Perhaps. Zhu-kun shook his head, pondering for a moment. Furthermore, not everyone can absorb this Emperor's essence. One careless mistake could backfire. However, since the ancient Emperor Naterisha is a strange fire, it's likely that those close to it will be less repelled. At this point, Zhu-kun turned his gaze to Uchiha Madara. That's why I asked you to try it. Uchiha Madara nodded. In this world, when it comes to controlling strange fire, he's undoubtedly the best. The problem now is opening the stone statue. Uchiha Madara's voice echoed, neither sad nor happy. I can open it. Tuanshan appeared before everyone. She stared at the stone statue, her small figure suddenly rising slowly into the air. Finally, under everyone's gaze, she hovered over the statue's heart. As Tuanshan ascended, a strong intense pure lotus demonic fire suddenly and rapidly spread from her body, transforming into a beam of flame that struck the statue's heart. But, as the beam of light struck, strange ripples suddenly erupted from the 10,000-foot tall stone statue, spreading out like ripples. Zhu-kun's face lit up with joy. Had the statue opened? But the statue's trembling grew more and more frequent, until finally, a crackling sound could be heard as the statue twisted. A cave slowly opened up in its chest. A soft light suddenly filled the cavern. Bang, bang, bang. Following the gentle glow, Gu Yuan and Zhu-kun's bodies slowly buckled downward, their bones creaking and crackling. Their faces flushed red. Considering these two were both late-stage 9-star Daoshings, yet to be crushed like this was simply unimaginable. Bang, bang. This stalemate didn't last long. Finally, exhausted, both men landed on the ground with a thud. Only Uchiha Madara stood there, oblivious to the pressure. He felt no pressure at all, perhaps due to the burning technique or the strange fire within him. Damn that ancient emperor. Zhu-kun's face flushed red, and he gritted his teeth. But his body felt like it was being crushed by a mountain, unable to move. Gu Yuan gave a wry smile, his struggles futile, and he relaxed. Being so suppressed by a Daodi was hardly a humiliation. A thin light swept across the square, then began to fade from Gu Yuan and the others, finally transforming into a beam that enveloped Uchiha Madara, who stood there. As the light retreated from his body, Gu Yuan and the others stood up, startled by the sight. As expected, you are suited to this emperor's origin. Zhu-kun said with a complicated expression. You have to know, he has been here for thousands of years, and has not found the slightest way to break the stone statue. Ban's expression was calm. He probably understood that it was because of the burning technique. The Dou Qi of the Tuosh ancient emperor and the different fire Dou Qi he cultivated using the burning technique, by consuming multiple different fires, were of the same origin. I will go and see the inheritance of the Tuosh ancient emperor. If you two are willing, you can wait here for me. Or you can just leave, if you have anything to do. Ban's voice rang out, and then he walked into the stone statue, his back slowly disappearing in front of Zhu-kun and Gu Yuan. The origin of the emperor. If that's the case, then the position of Daodi. He took it without hesitation. P.S. First update. Chapter 188 Daodi Inheritance. The moment Madara passed through the cave, he felt a sense of detection brushing across his body. His brow furrowed. This detection was no ordinary one. His chakra power must have been detected. However, despite the detection, Madara felt no repulsion. A moment later, he noticed a dramatic shift in his surroundings. Brilliant flames filled Madara's vision. This was undoubtedly a sea of fire, a dazzling riot of color, breathtakingly beautiful. A sea of strange fire. Madara leaned down and gently grasped a purple flame. A familiar feeling washed over him, and he muttered, 3,000 flames of flame. Madara walked through the sea of fire, condensed from various strange fires. As he moved, the flames gathered around him, creating a very friendly atmosphere. It seems your constitution is very welcome to strange fires. As Uchiha Madara slowly walked, an elderly voice, tinged with a hint of laughter, suddenly echoed from the sea of fire. The sudden sound caused Madara to look up, gazing at a sea of fire not far ahead. There, flames coalesced, transforming into a massive flaming bud. As it slowly blossomed, an elderly figure in dark robes appeared before Madara's gaze. The old man, dressed in dark robes, had a clean, unremarkable appearance. If one ignored his vibrant, multicolored hair, he looked like any other elderly man. He sat cross-legged within the bud, his aged face gazing at Madara with a faint inexplicable smile. Madara had seen this figure several times before, but each time he had seen it, it had been either a shadow or a fake. But now, Madara knew in his heart that this was the true Tuosh ancient emperor. Perhaps it was only a lingering image or a remnant of spirit, but regardless, this person was the legendary last Dou of the Dou Qi continent. Tuosh ancient emperor, the last Dou of the Dou Qi continent. You are very powerful, Madara remarked. It seems the cave I left behind has been opened. Tuosh ancient emperor smiled faintly, then waved his hand, and a flaming bud rose from the sea of fire before him. Sit down. Hearing this, Madara flashed and sat cross-legged on the flaming bud. Madara glanced briefly at the number of colors in Tuosh ancient emperor's hair, exactly 21. Have any new Dou masters appeared on the Dou Qi continent today? Tuosh ancient emperor gazed at Madara and smiled. You are the last Dou master on the Dou Qi continent to date. No Dou masters have appeared since you, Madara said. As expected. Tuosh ancient emperor wasn't overly surprised by this answer, but nodded gently. With the passage of time, the Dou Qi continent has lost something. This is the key to advancement to the Dou realm. Without it, no matter how brilliant your talent, you'll only remain at that threshold. What's missing? Uchiha Madara asked softly. Source. Tuosh ancient emperor softly uttered a profound word. Source. Madara raised a brow. In ancient times, some powerful beings called this thing Source Ki. It's a strange energy born from heaven and earth. Only after absorbing Source Ki can one successfully break through the barrier of the Dou Emperor. Tuosh ancient emperor nodded slightly and said, at the birth of every plane of space, Source Ki is born. However, Source Ki cannot be regenerated. In other words, every bit of Source Ki consumed is lost from the world. A Dou Emperor is a being that transcends heaven and earth in this world. Every birth of a Dou Emperor consumes a considerable amount of Source Ki. This kind of consumption, which is not enough to cover the cost, will eventually reach its limit. Therefore, the Dou Qi continent today cannot produce a Dou Emperor, because the Dou Qi continent is now devoid of Source Ki. Uchiha Madara pondered. On closer inspection, wasn't the ninja world also like this? Excluding the outsiders of the Tsutsuki clan, the only way for native ninja to achieve 6 path status is to become a 10-tails Jinkriki. Since there can only be one 10-tails Jinkriki, the number of 6 paths level warriors is also limited. Does the Emperor Great Hat Cling Pill also contain this so-called Source Ki? Madara asked. According to the original world line, Xiao Yan and the Soul Emperor should have both become Dou Emperors. The Emperor Great Hat Cling Pill also contains a trace of Source Ki. If one can truly transform the Emperor Great Hat Cling Pill into a true Emperor Pill, ascending to Dou Emperor status is not impossible. Tuosh ancient emperor smiled, then looked at Madara and said, I know you came here to achieve Dou Emperor status. But I also noticed that you're not from the Dou Qi continent, correct? That's right, Madara said calmly. While others couldn't discern his origins, it was natural for Tuosh ancient emperor, a Dou Emperor, to see it. However, I'm not particularly interested in your origins. Tuosh ancient emperor smiled and said, since you've made it here, you're naturally the most suitable recipient of the inheritance. If you can complete it, you'll ascend to the rank of Dou. I sense a familiar feeling within you. If my guess is correct, you've cultivated a miraculous technique capable of devouring strange fires, right? That technique is quite remarkable. It was thanks to it that I achieved my future success, Tuosh ancient emperor said with a smile. Uchiha Madara nodded. As he had expected, the burning technique was related to Tuosh ancient emperor. Did you create it? Haha, you're mistaken. The burning technique you speak of wasn't created by me. Back then, when I was concentrating my spiritual wisdom, I happened to encounter this technique in my confusion, which led to my numerous changes. Actually, this technique has been quite helpful to me. As for its creator, I'm quite curious, but I've never seen him before, Tuosh ancient emperor said with a smile. The word fate is elusive. If we were to use a strict definition, perhaps we could barely be considered fellow disciples. Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes. This burning technique was of considerable pedigree, its limits far exceeding his imagination. Haha, I haven't spoken to anyone in ages, but I've been quite chatty today. Tush ancient emperor flicked his finger, and the boundless brilliant sea of fire suddenly stirred. Finally, a dragon of fire surged, coalescing in midair into a dazzling, fist-sized lotus seed, its surface ablaze with flames. My inheritance is here. Whether you can reach the Dou Qi level depends on your own luck. The Dou Qi inheritance. Begin. P.S. The next chapter will address some matters before swallowing. I'll take a break. Today is over. Chapter 189 Entering the Devouring Starry Sky. A few days later, at the entrance to Tuo's ancient emperor's cave, a figure shrouded in flames appeared. Brilliant, blazing flames, like clouds of fire emanating from a distant sky, spread from the center of the Blackhorn region outward. A terrifying, even terrifying, temperature surged between heaven and earth, causing everyone across the Dou Qi continent to feel a wave of heat. Madara stood calmly, sensing the power within his body. This power approached the strength of his chakra. As expected of a Dou Emperor, the power he possessed far surpassed that of a 9-star Dou Sheng. Watching the commotion at the entrance to the ancient emperor's cave, Zhu Kun knew that Ban had succeeded. Has he successfully broken through to the Dou Emperor level? Gu Yuan stood beside Zhu Kun, also waiting eagerly for the answer. Ban nodded. The power of a Dou Emperor does have its merits. But beyond that, Uchiha Madara stamped his foot, his eyes darting upwards. Then, a massive beam of light, piercing heaven and earth, shot forth from his crown, piercing the heavens and earth, and, under the gaze of the entire Dou Qi continent, soared into the distant sky. As the beam of light shot skyward, a faintly luminous passageway seemed to break free from the constraints of dimensional space, appearing beneath the gazes of countless gazes across heaven and earth. Zhu Kun and Gu Yuan gaped, their hearts awash with fear. As the passageway appeared, they clearly sensed a subtle surge in the strength they had accumulated over millennia. A purple light shone from Madara's eyes, and the spatial passageway solidified completely. Madara then looked at Zhu Kun and Gu Yuan. Do you see the spatial passageway in the sky? That must be the final destination of the Dou Qi powerhouses of your world. I'm not from this world, and will likely depart your world soon. Before I left, I solidified that spatial passageway. It will last for approximately 50 years. If you wish to reach a broader stage, you may enter. But I must remind you, the source of your Dou Qi continent's power is Dou Qi, but in the world above, that source of power may not necessarily be Dou Qi. So before you leave, it's best to train your bodies to the highest possible level. Thank you. Zhu Kun and Gu Yuan clasped their fists. We'll never meet again. Madara's figure vanished instantly, and the strange phenomena in the sky vanished as well, as if Madara had never appeared in the Dou Qi continent. Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun exchanged a glance. Had he gone to another world? It seemed the vastness of this world far exceeded their imaginations. They just didn't know if they'd ever see each other again. However, Madara still had a few hours before he left the Dou Qi continent. So what was he doing right now? In reality, Madara was perched on the boundless void, channeling all of his newly cultivated Dou Qi power into the divine tree within him, hoping to produce another fruit. Time constraints meant that absorbing the Dou Qi continent's celestial energy to produce another fruit was unrealistic, but absorbing his own power was still incredibly fast. A few hours would be enough. Throughout this process, Madara felt the call growing stronger, a sense of irresistibility. Madara closed his eyes, certain that one day, his strength would be strong enough to understand the reason for all this. The next moment, Madara vanished completely from the Dou Qi continent. Only one immortal legend remained. In the world of Devouring Stars China. Right now, a speech was playing, live on every television in China. My compatriots. Tonight, I'm filled with immense sorrow and grief. We have faced a disaster for all of humanity. We must fight for survival. This speech was accompanied, not by a human face, but by scenes of countless monsters across China and around the world attacking human cities. A few days ago, the golden horned behemoth, known on Earth as the devouring beast, but actually a giant among the star beasts, was proven to have detonated a high-yield hydrogen bomb. Since then, a relentless war has erupted between the golden horned behemoth and humanity. Faced with countless king-level monsters rivaling gods of war, humanity is plunged into a dire predicament. And in eastern China, in the Bohai Sea region, 6 king level sea monsters are flying towards the Bohai coast. Critical. Crisis. 6 king level sea monsters are now flying towards the Bohai coast. Suddenly, the live broadcast appeared on every television. These 6 king level monsters were extremely ferocious. A sinuous, dark blue snake with a purple underbelly, nearly 200 meters long, towering as tall as a 70-story building, loomed. Beyond that, the 6 king level monsters, the mountain shaking whale king, the East Sea Azure dragon, and the 1000-touch jellyfish were incredibly powerful. On Earth today, only a handful of individuals, like Hong, Lei Shen, and Luo Feng, could easily confront them. However, these individuals were currently engaged in their own battles or other matters, unable to arrive. If China's war bases still had weapons, dealing with the king level monsters would be a breeze. However, the problem was that the golden horned behemoth's recent rampage had destroyed all of China's laser cannons. This presented an unsolvable problem. Time ticked by, and the 6 king level monsters, followed by countless lower level monsters, were approaching the coast, yet humanity still lacked an effective countermeasure. But then, a black speck suddenly appeared from the sky, hovering in midair. Who is that person? To soar above the void, that's something only a powerhouse beyond the level of a war god can achieve. Countless people erupted in excitement at this moment. Although they didn't know the identity of the newcomer, they knew it was undoubtedly a powerful being. Who is he? Find this powerful being's information immediately. One force after another sprang into action, searching for the mysterious individual's origins. In reality, this mysterious individual was none other than Uchiha Madara. Finding himself transported to a vast ocean, despite facing several ferocious monsters, Madara paid no attention. However, after taking a brief look at his own body, Madara frowned slightly. He felt his power suppressed by the will of this world, far from its peak. Although he could sense his strength gradually recovering, a rough estimate suggested it would take nearly 10 years for it to fully recover. It seemed this world was no simple place. He hadn't encountered anything like this since he first arrived on the Dou Qi continent. Bang! A mighty roar echoed as 6 king level monsters simultaneously launched a powerful attack on Madara, the roar deafening. Madara coldly looked at the 6 king level monsters, gently clenched his palms, and uttered a faint sound. Explode. PS. Finally, we've arrived at the devouring world. Considering the devouring world's overly grand concept of power, we've introduced the concept of world suppression, and also set Madara's peak, after being unsealed to immortal level. In terms of expressiveness, devouring, with the starry sky as its battlefield, is obviously more powerful. So, we set Duppo as a high-level martial arts fantasy, and its world level is not low, and then set it to immortal level. At the same time, although Madara's peak power is set at immortal level, his physical strength, telekinesis amplification, and understanding of the laws are all flaws. At this moment, Madara's power is set to stellar level. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190 Thunder God Luo Feng. As Madara's voice rang out, the 6 king level monsters instantly exploded into 6 clouds of bloody mist, their blood splattering into the sea, leaving them completely destroyed. The many sea beasts following the 6 king level monsters saw this scene, and scattered in panic. Win. So powerful. All the monsters have been killed. At this moment, many people burst into tears of joy. Who is this person? Why can't we find any information about him in the archives? Meanwhile, many people of higher status were puzzled. Earth had entered the intelligent age, and everyone's information should be recorded, yet they had found no information about this powerful individual. Find this person. Easily slaying 6 king level monsters. Such a powerful individual would be a great help to us. Madara's appearance clearly caused quite a stir. Furthermore, Madara quickly entered the Wheelgrave world, seemingly vanishing from the outside world's perspective. This only alerted countless people on Earth to his existence. After all, Madara was truly mysterious. China, the headquarters of the Extreme Dojo. In a training room aboard a scarred interstellar transport, 2 barefoot men sat cross-legged in meditation. one clad in white, the other in black. These two were the two most powerful men on Earth today, Huang and Lei Shen. Because the golden horn beast was searching for them, they had been hiding inside the interstellar transport. Besides Liu Feng, there are other such powerful beings on Earth. I can't fathom that man just now. Huang's eyes were like a calm ocean. Despite his inability to see through him, his heart remained calm, without a trace of panic. In terms of his state of mind, Huang must be among the top figures in the devouring star world. After all, he had cleared the 21st level of the so-called Sea of Illusion on his first attempt. Even a Cosmic Supreme couldn't easily achieve this. At the same time, streaks of lightning emanated from the white-robed, bald Thor who sat cross-legged in meditation. In a moment, the entire training room was transformed into a field of lightning. Lei Shen opened his eyes, lightning flashing in his eyes, and a smile played on his lips, like the legendary Buddha. Brother, the highest realm in ancient Indian yoga legends is the unity of heaven and man. To surpass them is to enter the realm of the domain. No wonder I was never your match in the past. So this is what the domain is like. The domain. In the vast universe, it's considered a very high realm. Even a galaxy only produces a few cosmic level powerhouses, and they may not even possess their own domain. Congratulations, Huang said with a smile. Brother Huang, you and I have been through life and death together for decades. How can we retreat this time? Lei Shen looked at Huang. Although he was hiding in the training room, it was because Lei Shen was preparing for a breakthrough in strength, not because Lei Shen and Huang were afraid. Second brother, Huang looked at Lei Shen. The devouring beast went berserk all night and has already gone to rest on the seabed. We have to fight it to the death, but we have to wait until it emerges. Now, I will share some of my insights into the domain. Let's prepare. Lei Shen nodded and stepped into the realm of the domain. Only then did he realize its unfathomable depths. He was only a beginner, while Huang had been in the realm for decades. As Raijin and Huang prepared, Madara was also studying the world of the Rinnegan. Even though his power had been sealed, Madara's perception now covered the entire earth. Countless pieces of information entered his ears, and he quickly gained a better understanding of this world. This world was unlike the ninja world or the Dou Qi continent. It was technologically advanced. Not long ago, humans and monsters maintained a mutually restrained relationship. Until the appearance of an unprecedentedly terrifying monster, this balance was disrupted. This monster was unafraid of the world's most powerful weapons, leaving humans completely defenseless. Even Huang and Raijin, the world's strongest, were driven into hiding by this monster. Madara's vision traversed the space and quickly spotted the devourer hidden at the bottom of the deep sea. The prophetic power gained from consuming the second fruit of the sacred tree was activated, and Madara could sense that the devourer had a deep connection to the universe. Interesting, Madara muttered to himself. He had already decided to slay the devourer and obtain its memories. Let him take a closer look at what this world truly is like. But before that, Madara needed to familiarize himself with his own powers. While Madara was getting used to his powers, a top-level meeting was underway on Earth. Hosting this meeting were none other than Huang and Lei Shen, Earth's strongest men. I've summoned you all at this critical moment to make an important announcement. The devourer is a giant cosmic beast, growing at an incredibly rapid rate. We can't deal with it today. Even if we manage to escape by hiding in a spaceship or somewhere else, when the devourer becomes even more powerful, we'll have nowhere to hide. So, we must kill it. Huang declared fiercely. First speaker, we know we must kill it, but even a 150 megaton hydrogen bomb can't kill it. What else can we do? Someone asked. Huang and Lei Shen stood up simultaneously, solemnly declaring, Lei Shen and I have decided to join forces and fight to the death to kill the devourer. Stunned. A hush fell in the conference hall. Everyone was stunned. They all knew the devouring beast's immense power. Huang and Lei Shen had battled it before, but they were utterly defeated. Under normal circumstances, they would have been powerless against it. If they truly wanted to confront it, they would have to sacrifice their lives. Down below, Liu Feng, after conversing with the intelligent life form Babata, solemnly declared, everyone, I'm confident I can kill the devouring beast. Everyone in the conference hall instantly fell silent, so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Until now, no one on Earth had ever dared to claim confidence in killing the devouring beast. Even Lei Shen and Hong, possessing domains, had to risk their lives. Yet, Luo Feng was now declaring his confidence in defeating the devouring beast. Luo Feng, what did you say? Say it again. Countless leaders and powerful council members stared at Luo Feng, as if a group of drowning people had suddenly found hope. Tension, excitement, and trepidation filled the conference hall. I say, I'm sure I can kill the devourer. PS. 2 updates, no more today. Having changed to a new world, I feel my creative passion has returned. In a few days, there should be a burst of updates. Chapter 191 Golden Horned Giant Hand. 10 minutes later, Luo Feng explained everything. Luo Feng's confidence in his ability to annihilate the devouring beast stemmed from a laser cannon he had retrieved from an ancient civilization's ruins. Earth possesses numerous ancient ruins, most of which have been explored by various nations. However, 3 remain unexplored due to their inherent danger, known as the 3 Desperate Places. These are the Bermuda Desperate Place, the Shenanjia Desperate Place, and the Interstellar Desperate Place. While in the Interstellar Desperate Place, Luo Feng obtained the inheritance of Hu Yangbo, the immortal master of the meteorite star, and gained the intelligent life form Babata. Aboard the meteorite star, a B6 class laser cannon remained intact. In the universe, A, B, and C levels represent planetary, stellar, and cosmic levels, respectively. A B6 class laser cannon represents a weapon capable of destroying an average stellar level 6th order creature with a single blast. This was the source of Luo Feng's confidence. Finally, there's hope. Luo Feng's words caused the peak experts of Earth to lose their composure, but no one paid much attention. They only knew that humanity could survive. Meanwhile, in the depths of the ocean, Uchiha Madara planted his feet on the ground, his eyes fixed forward. He clenched his fists and launched a powerful punch. Suddenly, waves surged and rolled. Retracting his fist, Madara felt a wave of doubt. His current strength was far less than it had been in his prime, yet the force of this punch was comparable to the force he had unleashed when he consumed the second fruit of the sacred tree in the Dou Qi continent. Could there be some differences between worlds? Madara's mind raced, recalling his recent learning about planetary gravity. The gravity of every planet in the universe was different. Some could be hundreds of thousands of times greater than the gravity of the planet beneath his feet, or even more. It seemed that the Dou Qi continent must be a place with such high gravity. Therefore, even without regaining his peak strength, he could still unleash such a powerful attack. This is actually a double standard, because when the ninja world entered Duppo, gravity wasn't introduced. It was set based on expressiveness. Now it's set based on gravity, because the devourer's expressiveness is too high. 6 paths Madara endowed his expressiveness is probably only around stellar to cosmic levels. This level is a bit low, so it's a double standard. Thank you for understanding. In this light, the 6 king level sea beasts we encountered at the beginning, each several kilometers long, are nothing to fear. Madara clapped his arms and instantly disappeared from his position. Now that he's familiar with the power, it's time to find the devourer. Many powerful people on Earth were also closely watching the devourer. Luo Feng, also brought back from the ruins to ensure absolute accuracy, held a 6-meter long, 3-meter wide, and 3-meter thick B6 class laser cannon in his hand, ready to fire. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, as the sun set in the west, the communication watches of the powerful people on Earth rang almost simultaneously. Master/Counselor, the devourer has just emerged from the waters around Swain's Island in Antarctica. The devourer they'd finally seen. Instantly, the black metal robot took off, illuminated by the blazing sunlight, its crystal laser cannon swiftly disappearing into the distant horizon. For a moment, Earth's powerful warriors were stunned. Don't just stand there, hurry inside and check the satellite tracking feed, Hong shouted, and everyone rushed inside. They wanted to witness the devourer's destruction with their own eyes. The Pacific Ocean. The boundless waters heaved, and the sky was pitch black, without moon or stars, as if the entire world had died. And above the Pacific Ocean, a massive monster, its body as black as ink, its horns entwined with golden mystical patterns, soared across the sky. Its wings, seemingly covered in black armor, were truly wings of steel. This was undoubtedly the Golden Horned Beast, one of the 12 most powerful bloodlines among the star beasts. The Golden Horned Beast's dark golden eyes looked down indifferently upon the human world. Within its gaze, there was nothing but coldness, murder, and brutality. 10,000 miles from the Golden Horned Beast, a black metal robot was steadily closing in on it. The metal robot's speed is approximately 2106 m/s, and the devouring beast's speed is approximately 50 to 18 m/s. At their current speeds, considering the distance between them, even at 10,000 miles, they should meet within 10 minutes. The two are still 1,000 miles apart. The devouring beast is still flying. The metal robot has stopped and begun charging its B6 class laser cannon. The laser cannon is emitting light, successfully activated, and ready to fire. Everyone on Earth was in a state of high tension. Even among the most powerful beings in the human world, their hearts were pounding. Some people of faith were even making the sign of the cross in prayer. The distance continued to shrink, and the devourer continued to fly. However, the metallic robot's steely face showed no sign of tension. His eyes suddenly lit up, and a signal was transmitted directly into the laser cannon. Suddenly, a dazzling and heartbreaking white beam of light burst out from the laser cannon. In an instant, the laser cannon reached the devourer. Boom. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. With a scream, the upper half of the golden horned behemoth's head was mercilessly pierced by the dazzling white beam of light. Void. The golden horned behemoth's head instantly became nothingness, including its brain. The white beam of light was so dazzling that it actually penetrated the atmosphere and shot directly into the vast starry sky. It's done. Ha ha ha. Great. Drink, celebrate victory. The entire Earth, every country, at this moment, erupted in excitement. This disaster was finally over. But suddenly, everyone seemed to sense something. Their faces froze, and their necks turned stiffly to the screen. On the screen, although only a mouth remained of the golden horned beast, strangely, it was still suspended in midair, with two sharp horns, one long and one short, floating beside it. Suddenly, the golden secret pattern on the golden horned beast's golden horn suddenly emitted a large golden light. The next moment, the golden horned beast's entire body lit up, and a pair of wings dived down, diving directly into the seabed. Failed. Just how surprising the world had been just now. Now it was filled with despair. The devouring beast is rapidly advancing on the seabed at a speed of 36,062 meters per second. Please give instructions. A cold electronic sound rang out, trying to make the few people forget this cruel reality. Everyone didn't know what to do. The devouring beast's current speed was far beyond their ability to match. But the next moment, another cold electronic sound rang out, and everyone instantly looked up. Someone is chasing the devouring beast at a speed of 50,000 meters per second. Chapter 192, Domain Realm and the Thunder God with Burning Soul. Reaching a speed of 50,000 meters per second, even faster than the golden horned beast. How could this be possible? This thought crossed the minds of every powerful being on Earth. 50,000 meters per second. Even Liu Feng, Earth's foremost spiritualist, could only fly at a dozen times the speed of sound, roughly 5 or 6,000 meters per second. 50,000 meters per second represented a tenfold improvement over Liu Feng's speed. This was undoubtedly an astonishing figure. For a moment, everyone on Earth's attention turned once again to the depths of the ocean. Who was this person? Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ocean, Uchiha Madara was galloping forward, chasing the golden horned beast. A hint of excitement welled up within him. Why? Because at 50,000 meters per second, Uchiha had never experienced such an exhilarating ocean speed before. Speed was a natural passion for men, and naturally, Uchiha Madara was filled with excitement. Using his sensory abilities, he could sense that the golden horned beast was approximately 100 kilometers away from him. Given the speed difference between the two, he could catch up in less than 10 seconds. His strength was being suppressed, so he hoped the golden horned beast would let him have some fun. Meanwhile, the golden horned beast, galloping furiously ahead, hadn't yet noticed Madara's arrival. Its massive body loomed in the dark depths of the ocean, a faint golden glow coursing through its body. Its head, once only a mouth connected to its whiskers, was now a tangle of flesh, skin stretched, and scales emerged. It was growing rapidly. Its ears sprouted, and gradually, its pair of dark golden eyes reappeared. The entire head was fully grown, its two sharp horns, one long and one short, merging into its form. However, the scales on its head were delicate, not as hard as those on other parts of its body. Its dark golden eyes held only rage, endless fury, like a blazing flame. Woo, a deep, furious roar emanated from its throat. Its injuries were too severe. It would never forget the sudden onslaught of white light. Under that blaze, it had no time to dodge, no power to resist. If it weren't for the fact that its horn, the essence of its strength, had been knocked back far and damaged by the laser, but not destroyed, it would have likely died here today. After fully recovering from its injuries, the golden horned beast felt an unprecedented hunger. Its inner world was also starving. Every cell in its body cried out. Excessive energy consumption had significantly diminished its strength. It desperately needed replenishment. With a boom, the golden horned beast soared out of the sea. However, Madara didn't appear. Instead, two figures flew from the sky and engaged the golden horned beast directly. By then, the distance between Madara and the golden horned beast had been minimized. The only difference was that the golden horned beast had flown out of the sea, while Madara hadn't. The reason Madara didn't pursue it was because he had discovered something interesting. Those two figures had shown him something he had never seen before. The two figures were naturally Earth's two most powerful men, Huang and Raijin. As the distance between Madara and the golden horned beast rapidly closed, Huang and Raijin resolved to ignite their lives, their very domains, in a desperate battle against the devouring beast. One was at planetary level 6, the other at planetary level 7. While they were a significant gap from the devouring beast's first level star, their domains, mastered by many cosmic level warriors, allowed them to close the gap considerably. By igniting themselves, they had a strong chance of threatening the devouring beast's life. Unaware of Uchiha Madara's true capabilities, they resolutely burned their souls to protect Earth. Huang's body, including the spear in his hand, was instantly enveloped in a black glow. Raijin's entire body was also enveloped in a blue electric light, like a serpent of lightning. Their bodies cut two graceful arcs through the sky, charging towards the massive golden horned beast from two different directions, their souls aflame, unleashing a powerful force. The golden horned beast's dark golden eyes glared disdainfully at Huang and Lei Shen. It had fought them before, just two small insects. However, the golden horned beast's underestimation would surely cost it. Huang and Lei Shen were now burning their souls, and with their souls ignited, they could only fight for a minute. Soul, body, energy, will, and domain were all concentrated in that 1 minute, connecting with the universe, and unleashing the ultimate power. At this moment, Huang and Lei Shen were no less powerful than first level stellar class cosmic beings. With a single blow, the golden horned beast's tail, used to defend itself, was instantly ripped to pieces by the two. Roar. The golden horned beast roared heavenward, having initially assumed they were just two stronger ants. But upon actual combat, it discovered their true combat power was astonishing. They were far more formidable than the first level stellar class humans it remembered from its bloodline. Furthermore, their swordplay and spearmanship seemed so natural, it had no chance of predicting them. Although the golden horned beast possessed the most supreme bloodline in the universe, it was only a year old and had yet to learn many of its inherited techniques. While its realm might rival that of ordinary planetary level experts, it was still far too immature compared to the domain wielding Huang and Lei Shen. The golden horned beast suddenly opened its maw, intending to use the devouring power inherited from its bloodline to completely consume the two small insects. However, Huang and Lei Shen had anticipated this. With a single wave of their hands, dozens of hydrogen bombs appeared before the golden horned beast's mouth. Don't you want to eat? Then you'll have enough. The golden horned beast hesitated, having only just fully recovered from his injuries. Sensing the golden horned beast's hesitation, Huang and Lei Shen transformed into two beams of light and pierced its body, churning it into a turbulent sea. The golden horned beast instantly revealed a look of intense pain. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ocean, Uchiha Madara shook his head. The two men who had just appeared, although very weak, had very high combat skills. If the insight bonus of the specialized such as Sharingan and Samurai was not counted, his combat skills were just on par with those of the two men. But unfortunately, the two men did not find the real weakness of the golden horned beast, which was the golden horn. If this continued, the two men would inevitably die from the excessive burning of their souls. When Huang and the Thunder God's souls were about to burn out, Madara sighed, and the next moment, Madara suddenly rushed out of the sea, and a huge wave was set off. He admired these two men, both in terms of their personal character and their hard fighting skills. He protected these two men. PS. Second update. Chapter 193 Earth Hero, Grilled Fish Under the Sea. Over the Pacific Ocean, the golden horned beast slowly opened its eyes. Its dark golden pupils were dull and weak, its entire body utterly weakened. It had never been this close to death. Its gaze shifted to its abdomen. Huang and Lei Shen, whose souls had burned, slipped from two bloody holes in their abdomen, plummeting to the ocean below. The golden horned beast stared at Huang and Lei Shen. These two tiny humans had brought it incredibly close to death, but it was also thanks to them that it learned a lesson. No matter how weak the enemy, it must be utterly annihilated. The golden horned beast swung its hoof, a mass of blow descending from the sky. Die, you little bugs. But then, a terrifying wave of force erupted, and the golden horned beast felt an overwhelming force. Its face grimaced as it fought back with all its might, but ultimately, the entire beast was toppled over, tumbling hundreds of times in the air. A black-robed black-haired figure slowly floated through the air. With a raised finger, Huang and the Thunder God's bodies drifted toward it, then vanished into thin air, as if entering another dimension. Uchiha Madara, arms folded across his chest, stood high in the sky, his eyes expressionless as he gazed at the golden horned beast. The golden horned beast, steadying itself, also stood poised, staring at Uchiha Madara. The previous attack had been irresistible to him. The tiny man and the massive beast stared across the sea and sky, yet the beast seemed to be the weaker in terms of momentum. This man is the one who killed 6 king-level monsters at once in the Bohai Sea in China yesterday. The whole world was searching for his information yesterday, but it's as if he appeared out of nowhere. There's no way to find him. We don't know who he is. Whoever he is, if he steps forward in this life or death moment, he's Earth's hero. Yes, he is Earth's hero. Go, go, go. Broadcast live across the globe via satellite. Madara's appearance immediately caused an uproar across the planet. But compared to the potential threat posed by Madara's unknown identity, public opinion overwhelmingly favored Madara as Earth's hero. If the golden horned beast could be compared to Gitanjia, the ultimate boss in Tiger, then Madara was now everyone's hope, their light. Babata, can you analyze whether he can defeat the golden horned beast? Luo Feng asked with deep concern. Babata's entire intelligent being froze. What's wrong with him? Tell me. Luo Feng urged anxiously. His genetic energy isn't even planetary, but his soul essence is immortal. Babata roared as if he had seen a ghost. It was crazy. This planet was completely insane. For such a desolate planet in a remote corner of the universe to have 2 planetary level masters was already insane. Now, there was a being Babata had never seen in all these millions of years. Could this person before him be the reincarnation of some powerful being? What? Immortal? Luo Feng was also filled with shock. He had heard Babata talk about the levels of the universe's strongest. Planetary, stellar, cosmic, domain lord, realm lord, immortal. Immortals are the absolute supreme power of the universe. How could they appear on Earth? Indeed, they are immortals. If I'm not mistaken, they must be the reincarnation of some powerful being who happened to be reborn on your Earth. But no matter what, your Earth is saved this time, Babata said solemnly. Witnessing the reincarnation of a being at least immortal is a legendary event that only 1 trillion people in the universe can witness. He hadn't expected to encounter it today. Luo Feng breathed a sigh of relief at Babata's words. But the next moment, Babata's words made Luo Feng's hair stand on end, and he stared intently at the battlefield. But the danger from the golden horned beast has been averted. If this reincarnated being had a bad temper, your Earth would face a crisis 1,000 times more severe than the golden horned beast itself. Ban stared at the golden horned beast before him. The golden horned beast was now severely damaged, and there was no chance of defeating him. But his goal didn't stop there. He also desired all the inherited memories within the golden horned beast's soul. So, Madara cleaved a tenth of his soul, transforming it into a sharp blade that instantly pierced the golden horned beast's body. Within the golden horned beast's body lay a transparent crystal sphere radiating golden light, etched with intricate golden patterns. The golden horned beast's soul lay within this golden sphere. With a sudden thrust of the soul blade, a slit was ripped open within the golden sphere. The next moment, the soul blade entered the sphere and annihilated the golden horned beast's soul with a single stroke. The life force is weakening. The golden horned beast's life force is rapidly weakening. The golden horned beast's life force has vanished. Detection instruments echoed throughout the earth, and the entire planet erupted in a frenzy. They had survived this catastrophe. With its soul annihilated, the golden horned beast's body plummeted to the seafloor, and Madara followed suit. Contact him. Send someone to contact him. We must remember this hero. That night, Luo Feng, carrying a heavy responsibility, flew to the sea area. Within Luo Feng's body, Babata berated him relentlessly. Luo Feng, are you crazy? That's the reincarnation of an immortal, and you're the last heir of my Yunmo star. If anything happens to you, where will I? Babata, find another one. Madman, all of you earthlings are crazy. Luo Feng remained calm. Babata, he saved Hang and the Thunder God, and he saved Earth. No matter the reason, I must contact him. I'm determined. With that, Luo Feng stepped on the sky shuttle and swiftly dived to the bottom of the deep sea. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the sea, beside the sleeping golden horned beast, Uchiha Madara sat slowly, azure flames rising before him. Madara was grilling fish in the deepest part of the ocean. Anyone who saw this would be shocked. This is the bottom of the deep sea. The water pressure is terrifyingly strong, and the temperature is terrifyingly low. How could a flame rise here? But for Madara, this is indeed a piece of cake. Including Amaterasu, Madara has 23 kinds of strange fire in his hands. No matter where he is, Madara can start a fire. And what Madara is using now is the sea heart flame that was born in the center of the ocean. Apart from anything else, the taste of this grilled fish is really good. Suddenly, Madara's brows moved slightly. Someone is coming. P.S. Chapter 1. Chapter 194 Secrets and Knowledge. A moment later, Luo Feng appeared before Uchiha Madara. Watching him raise flames from the deep sea, Luo Feng's eyes flickered with shock, but he suppressed it well. As an immortal reincarnated being, he wouldn't find anything surprising. Uchiha Madara, looking at Luo Feng, a hint of surprise etched itself in his eyes. After absorbing the fruit of the sacred tree, Madara's intuition had become almost prophetic. If he was correct, this Luo Feng, like Xiao Yan from the Dou Qi continent, was the child of destiny for the entire world. Xiao Yan possessed the burning decree, but he didn't know what Luo Feng's preciousness lay. So far, he felt he could see through Luo Feng at a glance. He knew nothing of value. Young man, Luo Feng, may I ask your name, senior? Luo Feng asked respectfully, cupping his fists. Luo Feng, my name is Uchiha Madara. What brings you to me? Madara asked softly. I can't say what, but you saved the entire earth, and we all feel we owe you a debt of gratitude, Luo Feng replied. No need for repayment, it's just a simple matter. If I'm not mistaken, you're still concerned about them this time. Madara flicked his finger on his storage ring, and Hang and Lei Shen's bodies, enveloped in a layer of energy, appeared on the seabed, their expressions remarkably calm. Yes, I wonder how brother Hang and Lei Shen are doing now, Luo Feng said bluntly, knowing he couldn't hide anything from Uchiha Madara. They're lucky. Their burning souls are only a little bit left due to their self-preservation. I've used medicinal herbs to nourish their souls. If nothing unexpected happens, they'll be awake in no time, Madara said calmly. Now that Hang and Lei Shen are in Madara's hands, if even a little bit of their souls remain, Madara will be able to rescue them from the brink of death. This can be considered a stroke of luck for Hang and Lei Shen. Luo Feng cupped his fists to express his gratitude to Uchiha Madara, then pulled out a communication device. If you need anything in the future, feel free to come and see me. Anything I can do for you, Luo Feng will definitely not refuse. Madara waved his hand. I understand. Go on. I'll contact you if anything's needed. Before proceeding further, Madara still needed to absorb the inherited memories of the golden horned beast. Luo Feng cupped his fists, then stepped on the sky shuttle and soared away from the seabed. Leaving the seabed, Luo Feng felt a surge of excitement, and Babata also exclaimed in excitement. Luo Feng, do you know what your actions just now signify? It means you've earned the friendship of a supremely powerful being who will regain immortal level strength within 1,000 years at most. And this powerful being is clearly not one for bloodlust. Ha ha ha, you're so lucky. Luo Feng took a deep breath. Babata, calm down. Hold on. Despite saying so, there was no doubt that Luo Feng was also incredibly excited. Deep beneath the sea, Luo Feng had just left when, beside Madara, a massive golden horned beast opened its eyelids and began to move within the depths. If Luo Feng had witnessed this, he wondered what he would have thought. However, Madara had completely concealed the aura of the deep sea, so there was no need to worry about the golden horned beast revealing his true intentions. As the golden horned beast swam, countless king-level monsters and even beast kings on the Pacific Ocean floor trembled in fear. Madara nodded. Now, the golden horned beast had become his clone. This feeling was somewhat similar to a shadow clone, where the memories of both parties could be shared directly without the need to dissolve the shadow clone. Suddenly, Madara frowned as an immense flood of memories flooded into his mind. The vast ancient memories passed down through generations of golden horned beasts unfolded before him. This was the first time in his life that Madara had ever encountered such a vast expanse of memory. This wasn't surprising. After all, these were the memories of countless powerful members of the golden horned beast lineage, passed down for countless millennia. Even a soul as powerful as Uchiha Madara would need a long time to digest them. It took Madara 3 full days to absorb all the knowledge. This was an incredibly long time. With Madara's current soul strength, the amount of information he could absorb per second was astronomical, let alone the amount he could absorb in 3 full days. Madara began to carefully review the memories inherited from the golden horned beast. These memories were divided into 2 main sections, one concerning the golden horned beast's own growth, and the other concerning knowledge of the vast universe. The golden horned beast could cultivate 3 innate secrets, 18 special secrets, and 319 common secrets. These innate secrets required no learning, they could be used directly, their power increasing with the golden horned beast's physical and soul strength. The 3 innate secrets were the cultivation secret devouring, the combat secret strengthening, and the life-saving secret clone. The enhanced innates allowed the golden horned beast's physical fitness, soul strength, and other basic combat-related qualities to undergo a comprehensive and cumulative increase. Cumulative is a bit of a misnomer, a more accurate term would be soaring. The devouring talent allows one to devour vast quantities of metal into their inner world, using this metal to aid rapid growth. When encountering an enemy, one can use the devouring talent to directly devour and kill them. The clone talent allows one to create 3 clones without sustaining any damage, respectively, at the planetary, cosmic, and realm lord levels. Unlike Madara, who gains clones by possessing a complete golden horned beast, the clone talent allows one to nurture a perfect clone within the beast's inner world simply by obtaining a sliver of its fur or flesh. Furthermore, each clone exists independently, with no discernible connection between them. As for the special and ordinary secret techniques, these merely contain methods for cultivation. Specific application requires personal practice. The latter encompasses a vast array of knowledge, including the universe's worldview, the various races, and cosmic cultures. This knowledge is so vast that even Madara licked his lips in anticipation of the battles ahead. Even after just a brief glimpse, Madara immersed himself in mastering this knowledge and studying the secret techniques. With so many secret techniques and so much knowledge, he must thoroughly study them. Through the inherited memories of this golden horned beast, he can definitely find the path that best suits him at the moment. This matter, Madara will naturally do very seriously. P.S. Thank you all for your monthly votes. Chapter 195 Growth Plan. While Ban frantically absorbed the experiences passed down from the golden horned beast's memories like a sponge, in a starry sky far from Earth, space rippled like waves. Simultaneously, a silver gray saucer-shaped spaceship appeared out of thin air. The wave-like spatial ripples vanished, and the spaceship hovered in the sky. Captain, we've escaped, we've escaped. Haha, we've escaped. Several humans inside the spaceship shouted excitedly, speaking the language of one of the countless human races in the universe. In the spaceship's control room, the 8 crew members were filled with excitement. Standing at the controls was a handsome middle-aged man in a silver-gray combat uniform. He stood about 1.9 meters tall, with slightly pointed ears and a glint of red in his eyes. He was the captain of this adventure spaceship. "I didn't expect there's a wormhole here," the captain said with a sinister smile. Originally, the ship ran out of Class B energy crystals, rendering it unable to travel through space. In our desperate attempt to survive, we stumbled into an asteroid field and, surprisingly, stumbled into a natural wormhole. Haha, this wormhole spans who knows how many light years. Unless those bastards happen to stumble into that area amidst the vast asteroid field, they'll never catch up to us. Atuka, the captain shouted. "Captain," a child's head appeared on the console screen, calling out crisply, "Hurry and mark the coordinates of the wormhole. These coordinates don't appear on our star map." Apparently, the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire doesn't know about this wormhole, the captain exclaimed excitedly. "Then confirm our current location, and notify the clan immediately." "Yes," the child's head on the screen shouted. "Oh." Then the child screamed, "Captain, this is the Void Zone in the Milky Way galaxy." "What?" The captain was shocked. "It's the Void Zone. The Void Zone, where you can't determine the coordinates, no matter how you travel through space, and you can't enter it, no matter how you travel through space," the intelligence system child shouted. "Haha, haha, we've made it, we've made it, we've made it this time." The captain exclaimed excitedly, "Let's go, let's go." Long ago, this region was controlled by the Silver Blue Empire. However, after being conquered by an incredibly powerful being, that person entered the Dark Universe and obscured the spatial coordinates of this star region, making it impossible to reach this star region. Over 30,000 years ago, it was rumored that the powerful being had fallen, leaving this void region ownerless. Yet, no one in the Silver Blue Empire, or even the almighty Black Dragon Mountain Empire, could find the coordinates to enter this star region. But to his surprise, he actually found a new wormhole and entered this star region. Haha, this time he'd truly made it. Earth, deep beneath the ocean. Uchiha Madara had already determined the future cultivation path for the golden horned beast clone, centered around 3 innate secret techniques, focusing on the special technique of original world and the ordinary technique of absolute space. As the saying goes, biting off more than one bites off more than one bites off. Once you reach a certain level and have ample time to grow, you can explore more. However, before reaching a certain level, these 2 secret techniques were the foundation for Madara to determine the future incarnations of the golden horned beast. The absolute space technique primarily focused on bursts of instantaneous speed. It was divided into 3 levels. The first, arc light, the second, 1000 changes, and the third, teleport. He chose this technique because, through the golden horned beast's memories, Uchiha Madara learned that in this world, the laws of space were extremely valuable, essential for those reaching the immortal level and above. Uchiha Madara tested whether the spatial abilities he had used in the Duppo world were still usable, and they were. This meant he had an absolute advantage in spatial techniques, even though he hadn't yet comprehended the laws of space, or even the first level of spatial domain required to master them. However, once he began studying, his progress would undoubtedly surpass those of his peers. The original world technique, on the other hand, focused on explosive power and the free expansion and contraction of the body. At the first level, the body can expand and contract threefold, reaching a maximum strength of 3 times its previous value. At the second level, the body can expand and contract 9-fold, increasing strength 9-fold. At the third level, the body can be adjusted to any size, increasing strength by a maximum of 36 times. These 2 secret techniques will be the core training items for his golden horned beast clone. He also combined the golden horned beast's inherited memories to forge his own future path. In terms of his ability system, thanks to the Seeking Deo Jade and the Eye of Samsara technique, he possesses a wealth of combat-related abilities, attack, defense, movement, and control. However, he also discovered significant deficiencies in physical strength, telekinesis, and understanding of the laws. In this world, the Cosmic Masters can achieve physical strength and telekinesis amplification of 100 or more, meaning they can unleash 100-fold physical or mental strength without using any other abilities or secret techniques. This is precisely what he lacks. Furthermore, he hasn't even begun to grasp the fundamental principles of this world, the so-called understanding of the laws, making his lack even greater. Self-improvement in these three areas is the foundation of his future growth. As for realm advancement, he had also learned that, as long as resources were plentiful in this world, the only obstacles to realm breakthroughs were physical strength, telekinesis, and the comprehension of the laws. Therefore, as long as these three fundamental elements were improved, realm advancement would be a piece of cake. With this thought, Uchiha Madara rose. He now had a clear understanding of the planet Earth. To be frank, this planetary stage was far too small for him. What Madara needed now was to connect with the universe and enter the so-called virtual universe network. This virtual universe network spanned the entire universe and was controlled by the Virtual Universe Corporation, one of the 5 largest cosmic giants. Within this virtual universe network, he would be able to truly compete with a sufficient number of masters. As for how to connect with the universe, Madara closed his eyes, radiating his powerful perception. Although the growth rate of these children of destiny would inevitably lag far behind his own, in their early stages, during the first 20 or so chapters, they undoubtedly provided a valuable entry point into the entire world system. A moment later, Madara opened his eyes, and a pitch black rift in space opened up, and he slowly stepped inside. He found the location of the Child of Destiny, Luofeng. P.S. Chapter 1. After today's 2 chapters, this month has seen 95 chapters updated, totaling approximately 200,000 words. It's true that the second half of the month was a bit slow. Chapter 196, Heading to the Universe, Qilang Star. Meanwhile, Luofeng, the very person Madara was looking for, was soaring through the sky on his sky shuttle. Luofeng, the auxiliary power system is complete. From now on, your Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft is intact. In just one day, once I finish installing the auxiliary power system, you can travel through the vast universe aboard the Black Dragon spacecraft, encountering its countless races, the intelligent being Babata excitedly exclaimed. Can we travel through the universe? Luofeng, startled, hovered in midair, and stopped flying. An ordinary earthling would probably be so excited they couldn't sleep if they could only imagine one day landing on the moon. And now, with the prospect of traveling through the universe and encountering its countless races, Luofeng's excitement was truly uncontrollable. Luofeng, if your Earth is discovered by other adventurers or forces in the universe, it will be disastrous. Therefore, you must integrate into the universe as soon as possible. This will benefit Earth's future survival. The most important step in integrating into the universe is to open an account on the Virtual Universe Network. This will allow you to enter the virtual universe and communicate with countless races, Babata continued. At this moment, a pitch black rift in space tore open, and the figure of Uchiha Madara appeared before Luofeng and Babata. Going to the universe? I'm also very interested in it, Uchiha Madara said casually. Luofeng and Babata were now in extreme shock. They had underestimated the application of space. This person was not the reincarnation of an immortal. He was the reincarnation of a venerable one. The next day, in the control room of the Black Dragon spacecraft, Uchiha Madara, dressed in black, stood at the console screen. Luofeng, dressed in a blood-red combat uniform, stood beside Madara. On the screen was the intelligent being Babata. What is this Qilang Star, 320,000 light years away, that you are going to? Uchiha Madara asked. The inherited memories of the Golden Horn Beast are indeed all-encompassing, but the Silver Blue Empire, or even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, are of little concern to the Golden Horned Beast tribe. Therefore, Ban had no information regarding their destination. Your Excellency, this Qilang Star is a prosperous commercial center of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. We have all our basic needs here, so I chose it as our first destination, Babata said respectfully on the screen. Upon discovering that Bang was likely the reincarnation of a venerable even more powerful than his master, the immortal Huayanbo, Babata's feelings were indescribable, but their respect for Ban undoubtedly deepened. Babata even began addressing Ban as Your Excellency. Ban didn't mind the title. It was only a matter of time. It's a distance of 320,000 light years. How can we cross it? Even at the fastest speed possible, it would take 320,000 years, wouldn't it? Luo Feng asked from the side. You'll find out soon. Babata glanced at Madara, and seeing no sign of doubt on his face, he kept Luo Feng in suspense. Soon, the spaceship vibrated slightly, and entered a sea of light. Madara stood quietly, gazing out the window. He naturally knew this universal, basic knowledge of the universe. Beyond the primordial universe lies the dark universe. The dark universe is a folded version of the primordial universe. Proportionally, 1 light year in the dark universe is equivalent to 10,081,000 years in the primordial universe. Therefore, even if a distance of tens of millions of light years in the primordial universe is tens of millions of light years away, it can be reached in a few years in the dark universe. By this time, Babata had finished explaining the dark universe to Luo Feng. Luo Feng was immediately astonished. This number was undoubtedly unimaginable to him. Madara, on the other hand, closed his eyes, his thousands of shadow clones practicing within his inner space. For a newcomer to this world, no time should be wasted. A few days later, a distant planet emitting a multicolored light came into view. Your Excellency, Luo Feng, that planet is Xiao Star, Babata said. Babata, but entering a planet also requires money, and I don't have any currency, Luo Feng said quickly. Bang's gaze also turned to Babata, putting him under great pressure. I still have some coins with me, a total of 930 Xiao wood coins. With that, 800 Xiao wood coins appeared before Ban, and then 130 Xiao wood coins appeared before Luo Feng. Your Excellency, Luo Feng, Xiao Wu coins are the currency of the Xiao Wu Empire, the Empire of Black Dragon Mountain. The exchange rate with Black Dragon coins is 1 to 1000, which should be enough for us to use for a while, Babata said. Ban nodded, and, with a casual wave of his hand, placed the Xiao Wu coins into his storage device. Luo Feng smiled dryly. A little over 100 yuan. He was so poor. The spaceship rapidly approached Xiao Star. A stream of air of various colors slowly flowed, making the entire planet appear incredibly gorgeous from the outside. Having received the tow signal, the spacecraft will follow it to the planet's docking port, Babata said. No planet would allow a spacecraft to fly recklessly. It must enter a docking port. The Black Dragon spacecraft penetrated the atmosphere and arrived at a vast silver city. This city was the docking port of Killing Star. It was densely packed with spacecraft, large and small, ranging from tens of thousands of meters long to mere meters. Received the signal. We will proceed to Area C. The massive docking port was also divided into sections. This spacecraft was a C-class, a cosmic-class powerhouse, so it was destined for Area C soon. The Black Dragon spacecraft landed, and after the hatch opened, Uchiha Madara was the first to step out. Dear sir, welcome to Killing Star. Your Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft. The docking fee is 600 Black Dragon coins. If it's less than a year old, it will be charged at the same rate. Here is your docking card. A burly green-skinned man flew over and handed Madara a silver translucent card marked with a C logo. Madara flicked the card, and it vanished from the green-skinned man's hand. The green-skinned burly man was stunned. He was a 9th rank planetary warrior and had been surfing the virtual universe for years, but this move of Madara's was so utterly incomprehensible that he couldn't even grasp the principle behind it. Luo Feng, following behind Madara like his lackey, also casually flicked out a Xiao Wood coin. This was Babata's instruction. When coming to Xiao Star, one must not appear easy to bully, but must make it seem as if one has a strong background. However, Luo Feng was indeed quite confident at this moment. Even the ruler of the Xiao Wu universe, a nation subordinate to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, was only a venerable, the reincarnation of a venerable. Thank you, sir. The green-skinned burly man was extremely respectful. It was no surprise that this kind of demeanor, this kind of move, and this kind of spaceship were proof of a powerful family background. Madara's journey into the universe officially began. PS. Second update. March is over. See you in April. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197, Joining the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. At that moment, a spaceship, painted entirely in a strange pattern of alternating black and white, landed on land less than 100 meters away. Its hatch opened during descent, and out flew a chubby black-haired young man. 2 purple streaks streaked his face, making him look rather fleshy. Wow. As soon as he disembarked and saw the Black Dragon spaceship belonging to Madara and Liu Feng, the portly young man swooped over, followed by 4 chimpanzee-like men. The 4 bodyguards behind are 3 3rd-level stellar class, 1 8th-level stellar class, and the fat man himself is 3rd-level planetary class. Liu Feng was secretly astonished. The fat man actually had 4 stellar class bodyguards under his command. After all, every stellar class expert is capable of sweeping across the earth. Madara, however, remained calm. He had tested his own strength over the past few days, and even though it was far from his peak, it was still comparable to a 9th level stellar class. If he could harness his soul power, he could even hold his own against a cosmic class expert. Damn. Meanwhile, the fat man scurried over to the Black Dragon spaceship, stroking its hull, his eyes gleaming as he screamed. This is the old Black Dragon Mountain X81, over 1,000,000 years old. Those who own one have long since collected it. I never expected to see one like this today. My name is Gao Sheng. I wonder if you're selling this spaceship, the fat man said in fluent universal language. Ban didn't react. He was using his sensory abilities to survey the planet and plan his route. Seeing Ban's lack of reaction, Liu Feng approached him, following Babata's advice and casually saying, Gao Sheng, I modified and repaired this Black Dragon spaceship myself, and I'm reluctant to sell it just yet. Well, it's an old model from over 1,000,000 years ago. After 1,000,000 years of use, many parts will decay. Repairing it is definitely no easier than buying one, the fat man praised. Brother, you haven't introduced yourself yet, the fat man said with a smile. My name is Liu Feng, Liu Feng said with a smile. Brother Liu Feng, are you alone without bodyguards? It's thousands of kilometers from here to the city. On this planet, only the city is protected, not the outer reaches. We might run into bandits along the way. If you don't mind, let's go together. I have those 4 bodyguards with me, so no one will cause trouble, the fat man continued. Liu Feng glanced at Madara and shook his head. My elder is still here. I have to wait for him. He must be busy right now. Uchiha Madara was the reincarnation of the Venerable, a secret that was somewhat of a big deal, and could not be revealed easily. The fat man nodded, knowing that Liu Feng was politely declining him. Then, brother, I'll be leaving first. With that, the fat man flew away without a second thought. Their encounter was merely a chance encounter. Sometime later, Uchiha Madara also opened his eyes. The planet was quite large, making it difficult to perceive, so it took some time for Madara to grasp the entire layout. Venerable, where are we going now? Liu Feng asked, after seeing Madara open his eyes. Don't call me Venerable anymore, it sounds awkward. Call me Big Brother. Where are we going now? Let's go to the service center on this planet to take care of some business. Ban's voice rang out calmly. Okay, Big Brother Ban. Liu Feng said excitedly. The next moment, the 2 of them soared into the air, flying at high speed towards the city at the center of the planet. After a while of flight, an immense city came into view. The city walls were as black as ink, stretching endlessly to the horizon. On the tops of the walls were carved magnificent glazed dragons. The vast and ancient atmosphere of the entire city was awe-inspiring. Landing at the massive city gate, a constant stream of people came and went. Ban and Liu Feng entered together. Venerable, Liu Feng, your contact numbers are 19,287,342,325 and 19,287,342,326, Babata said. These contact numbers were like phone numbers. Even the most powerful communicator couldn't communicate over light years. Each civilized planet automatically sent a code to any auxiliary optical computer that arrived, allowing them to chat within the same planet. If they wanted to communicate face to face despite being in different universes, the only way was to access the virtual universe network. After entering the city, Madara and Dou Feng flew to the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's administrative office building, over 200 kilometers from the city gate. At the entrance, upon seeing them, two giant guards stood straight, smiled, and pushed the door open, saying, "Sir, please come in." This was due to guarding regulations, but more importantly, Madara's extraordinary presence was evident even just by standing there. Upon entering, a beautiful woman with bunny ears, resembling a mythical elf, flew over and bowed slightly. "Excuse me, how can I help you? We want to become citizens of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire." Madara again didn't respond, so Dou Feng stepped forward. Dou Feng now considered himself a handyman. Citizenship was essential for many tasks in the universe. Nationality? The receptionist was a bit surprised. Who doesn't have a nationality these days? However, the habit she'd developed from years of work made her politely say, "Sir, please go to the left, the second to last room." "Thank you." Dou Feng smiled. His earthling nature still made him rather affable, especially since Dou Feng hadn't merged with the golden horned beast like in the original novel, and wasn't as affected by its murderous aura. His affability was even more pronounced. Soon, Madara and Dou Feng arrived at their destination. Pushing the door open, they entered a spacious workroom. Two thin dark-skinned staff members, upon seeing Madara's extraordinary presence, immediately displayed a familiar warmth. "Sir, how can we help you? We want to become citizens of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire," Dou Feng said, taking the initiative. In the universe, there are nations of primary, intermediate, and advanced civilizations. Corresponding to their current positions, they are the Silver Blue Empire, which governs the Milky Way, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, which governs the Black Dragon Mountain Star region, and the Qianwu Universe, which governs the Qianwu Star region. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire, considered a moderately powerful nation among the medium civilized nations, was a good candidate for transition. This had also been approved by Madara. "I wonder what your nationality was before, sir? Do you have the necessary procedures to release your original nationality?" one of the men asked. "Stateless," Dou Feng said. The two men were slightly surprised, but soon recovered. They figured he was a sign of a large family seeking experience. "Please wait, sir. We'll process it for you right away." Chapter 198 Virtual Universe Network. It took about 20 minutes for the two to complete their formalities, leaving their records on the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's citizen system. Of course, the speed of the process was largely due to Dou Feng's tip. As the saying goes, money makes the world go round, and that's probably the case. Now, after some time, the two arrived at the Virtual Universe Network account opening site. "Sir, how can I help you?" A beautiful woman in a red uniform bowed slightly and smiled. "Open an account." Account opening services are divided into 3 tiers. 100 year, 1000 year, and 10,000 year. The annual network fee is 10 Black Dragon coins or 0.008 Qianwu coins, the woman explained fluently. Dou Feng was slightly surprised. 10 Black Dragon coins equaled 10,000 Silver Blue coins, quite a significant sum. "Do you have consciousness sensing helmets here?" Dou Feng asked. These consciousness sensing helmets are the gateways to the Virtual Universe Network. At higher levels, there are auxiliary optical computers and intelligent optical computers. "Yes," the woman smiled. "I need 10 consciousness sensing helmets, each with a 100-year account," Dou Feng said. Madara, meanwhile, had also purchased a consciousness sensing helmet, but immediately after purchasing it, he entered the so-called virtual universe. In the outside world, it was a wooden clone of Madara who was operating. Connecting to the virtual universe, a deep, resonant voice echoed through Madara's consciousness. This was an ancient city, its streets lined with large, shaped blocks of rock. While the passers-by varied in appearance, height, and ethnicity, most wore plain grey clothing, each sporting a small elf on their shoulder. Suddenly, a figure appeared among the crowds. It was none other than Uchiha Madara. Madara, also dressed in plain grey, observed the crowds. He realized this was the Virtual Universe Network. According to the inherited memories divisions into the virtual universe network, he should be on Black Dragon Mountain Island, on the edge of the Kyan Wu continent in the virtual universe. Anyone within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's territory who connected to the virtual universe network would automatically appear on Black Dragon Mountain Island. While Black Dragon Mountain Island may be called an island, the Black Dragon Mountain star region boasts over 8,000 star systems and countless planets, boasting an overwhelming number of internet users, a population far greater than any planet in the real universe. Everyone who enters the virtual universe has a virtual assistant, a little elf on their shoulder. Uchiha Madara looked at the elf on his shoulder. The intelligence of a virtual assistant depends on the device it's connected to. His virtual assistant, formed from a sensor helmet, doesn't think at all, merely responding simply. In the virtual universe, one can chat with friends remotely, teleport to meet remotely, link bank accounts, learn martial arts, place orders and trade goods, and play virtual games. The virtual universe is the universe's largest marketplace, gathering the world's elite. Things impossible in reality are now possible. Madara's current mission is to travel to a place in the virtual universe known as the Killing Grounds. However, to ensure his own safety in reality, he returned to the real world to bid farewell to Luo Feng and meet him later. He then slipped into the Wheelgrave space and reconnected to the virtual universe network. A warrior's strength cannot be improved solely through arduous practice. Unless someone like the Golden Horned Giant Beast, born with a powerful bloodline destined to reach the realm of Domain Lord or even Realm Lord, further improvement requires meticulous effort. Combat is the best way to do this. The best kind of combat is one that goes hand in hand with strength growth, one that leaves one feeling the threat of death. The entrance to the so-called Killing Grounds is a large hall. Here, one can submit their own requirements to the virtual universe system for a fee, creating a variety of opponents. For Madara, this place is a paradise. If he wants to grow, this is undoubtedly the best place. Walking down a corridor, Madara entered the depths of the Killing Grounds. As he walked, the surrounding space suddenly shifted dramatically. Immediately, 100,000 planetary level 9th rank warriors appeared beside him, filling the sky with a terrifying density. Madara smiled faintly, and his black robe and black hair transformed into the white robes and flowing white hair of an immortal. 9 pitch black Dao-seeking jade swirled behind him, and a massive immortal staff appeared in his hand. He'd first test the waters with a few small fry. The immortal staff struck the ground, and a massive repulsive force, centered on Madara, dissipated with overwhelming force. A white halo shot up into the sky, a massive wave of air violently dissipated, and the repulsive storm unleashed a bloody hail. 100,000 planetary level 9th order warriors were annihilated by Madara in a single blow. Ha 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 ha. From childhood to adulthood, Madara had never witnessed such a grand spectacle. Keep going. 1000 first order stellar level warriors, 1000 third order stellar level warriors, 1000 fifth order stellar level warriors, 1000 seventh order stellar level warriors. Madara's opponents grew increasingly powerful, and his own excitement grew. Finally, Madara was defeated by 1000 ninth order stellar level warriors. This wasn't because Madara was too weak to continue. In fact, with the characteristics of his 6 paths constitution and the power of the Seeking Dao Jade, Madara could easily have annihilated 1000 9th order stellar level warriors by continuing to fight. But there was a problem. When his opponent was set at the 9th level of the stellar rank, Madara discovered that his physical strength, telekinesis, and understanding of the laws were inferior to even a small fry. This challenged his pride. So, now Madara had unlocked another use for the Killing Ground. Yes, the Killing Ground allowed him to select any opponent he wanted to fight. This meant he could set up an opponent with the same physical qualities, mental strength, awareness, special moves, and weaponry as his own, but with superior physical strength, telekinesis, and understanding of the laws. This allowed him to learn how to improve through fighting against a stronger opponent. This was a unique advantage for Madara. Remember, Madara possessed the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. This meant that, no matter how much his stronger self overpowered him, Madara could catch up quickly and draw even with that stronger self. For example, if he didn't know how to exert force, he could easily set up an opponent with greater physical strength, but the same other attributes. This way, he could observe the opponent through the Sharingan and understand how to exert force. It's not just about physical strength, it also applies to things like telekinesis and the understanding of laws. Free sparring partners, free teachers. This is the greater purpose of the killing field. PS. April's first day update is complete. Chapter 199 The Battle of the Universe's Top Geniuses. The same white sage robe, the same 9 jet black truth-seeking jades, the same sage staff. Madara's first opponent was himself, with a physical strength of 10. Madara licked his lips, and his entire body instantly exploded outward like a cannonball. The battle began. 2 streaks of white light, like the most brilliant light and shadow in the sky, collided violently. As his fists connected with his opponent's, Madara felt an overwhelming force. His eyes pierced, his teeth gritted, veins bulged in his neck, and he was instantly sent flying. Without a trace of suspense, he was sent flying. Madara's physical strength of 10 meant that, while the attack was superficially identical, this opponent would utilize a more strategic method, unleashing 10 times the force. This tenfold difference in power meant that even if Madara fought with all his might, even desperately, he would be completely powerless against the blow. Madara's figure slowly emerged from the thick smoke and dust. His head lowered slightly as excitement surged from his chest and spread throughout his body. He opened his eyes, his eternal Mangekyou Sharingan appearing, capturing his opponent's every subtle movement and mimicking it. 2 beams of white light collided again, erupting with a brilliant, intense roar. This time, Madara's punch, though still forced him back several steps, clearly transformed the situation from a hopeless, crushed situation into a slightly disadvantaged one. Madara burst into laughter, observing his opponent's subtle movements, before launching another punch. In that burst of power, Madara's physical strength, though not 10%, had already reached 8. And this was simply the learning from a single encounter. This meant that, with that single glance, Madara's explosive power had increased 8-fold. This was an absolutely visible increase, a complete improvement. So this was how a punch should be delivered. So this was how punches and kicks could connect. Madara grew day by day. Whether in the ninja world or the Dou Qi continent, he had never experienced such rapid growth. Moreover, this growth was very different from simply increasing strength. Pure strength growth, such as his Mangekyou Sharingan advancing to the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan and the perfect Susanoo becoming a daily fixture, was aesthetically pleasingly different from this kind of growth that comes from correcting one's own mistakes. In short, Madara now felt that his previous self was truly foolish. Madara was a deeply dedicated and focused person. Once he was in the killing fields, he couldn't leave. Only when money ran low did he break records or compete in tournaments to sustain himself. Time flew by. Perhaps for ordinary people, the killing fields lacked life or death combat, and simply observing would likely yield little insight after a certain point. Therefore, after a period of use, their effects would diminish significantly, and they would then turn to reality, exploring secret realms, and honing their skills in the face of life and death. But not for Madara. Because of the existence of the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, Madara can continue to grow just by looking. Perhaps the existence of the Sharingan is the most buggy ability in Naruto. Its ability to see and copy provides Madara with the most powerful growth potential in the universe. In the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed, and a major event also quietly struck at this time. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island. The continents and islands in the virtual universe also have day and night, and it is night at this moment. Many places in the entire Black Dragon Mountain Island are shrouded in lights, prosperous and gorgeous. Suddenly, above the night sky of Black Dragon Mountain Island, a huge black notice with a brilliant light on the edge appeared out of thin air. On the black notice, there were words emitting dazzling white light. Universe Humanity Top Genius Tournament. Once in 1,000 years. Coming soon. Hosted by the Virtual Universe Company and all the cosmic nations. Are you a genius? Can't find any rivals of your level? Then join the Top Genius Tournament. Here, billions of super geniuses from all the high-level cosmic nations will battle it out. For details, please visit the official Virtual Universe website through your virtual assistant. A gigantic banner suddenly appeared out of thin air in the night sky, spanning over 1,000,000 miles in length and width. Even from Black Dragon Mountain Island, with its population of hundreds of millions, one could clearly see it. The top genius tournament is about to begin. Haha, the universe is going crazy again. Billions of geniuses from all the cosmic nations battle. This is a super event for the entire human race. I heard there will be staggering rewards for the top 1000 in the entire universe. Hurry and check the official website. Gigantic banners appeared above not only Black Dragon Mountain Island, but also every continent representing a cosmic nation, and every island representing a medium-level nation in the virtual universe, announcing the upcoming Top Genius Tournament. In just one night, this news spread throughout all the human race's cosmic nations. The speed of transmission demonstrated the advanced nature of the virtual universe network. In the Killing Grounds Hall, Dou Huang, and Lei Shen gathered. 3 years had passed, and Huang and Lei Shen had awakened and become sworn brothers with Dou. Now, all three could be considered masters. Dou, at the 5th level of the Gold Realm, had entered the threshold of the Gold Origin Law, his telekinesis amplitude reaching 58, making him a stellar level 7th order spiritualist. Lei Shen, at the 5th level of the Thunder Realm, had received the inheritance of a Realm Master. Huang, at the 6th level of the Light Realm, had won nearly 1,000 consecutive matches in the Killing Grounds decisive battle space. It could be said that among the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's stellar level realms, all three were quite skilled. As soon as the three gathered, they saw a huge notice hanging above the Killing Grounds Hall. Top Genius Battle? Huang's pupils narrowed, a glint of light flashing in his eyes. A battle of billions of geniuses from all the cosmic nations and the entire universe. Dou gasped at the list. Insanity. Sheer madness. How vast is the universe? The Qianwu universe alone contains hundreds of millions of galaxies. If the number one genius from a galaxy were chosen, that would bring together hundreds of millions of geniuses. This grand spectacle filled one with a surge of excitement and pride. This is a great opportunity to test our strength. Big brother, third son, we must participate. I wonder what level we can truly reach with these billions of geniuses in the universe, Lei Shen said excitedly. With that, the three of them clicked on the detailed description of the universe genius battle. P.S. Follow Dou. I'll write a little more awkwardly. I'll feel more comfortable writing directly about the major events. Chapter 200 Preliminary Elimination Round. The Peak Genius competition is open to all star level humans. Anyone who is a star level human is eligible to participate. The Peak Genius competition consists of two parts, the Cosmic Nation Selection Round and the Peak Finals. The Cosmic Nation Selection Round involves screening within each of the major Cosmic Nation nations according to the Virtual Universe Company's rules. The elite will be selected to compete in the Peak Genius Finals, a competition for the entire human race. The Peak Finals will determine the final rankings. The top 1000 in the overall universe ranking will receive 3 major awards. First, a bonus ranging from 10 to 10,000 Yuan units, depending on their ranking. Second, a spot in the initial universe enlightenment. And third, a chance to become a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. Let's first explain what a Yuan unit is. 1 Yuan unit is equivalent to 1 trillion cosmic coins. 10 Yuan units are equivalent to the entire net worth of a Realm Master, and 10,000 Yuan units are equivalent to the entire net worth of an immortal. Simply placing in the top 1000 in the overall universe rankings promises an astronomical prize, even for a star-level human. Of course, if you consider that this is the top 1000 geniuses among the trillions of geniuses in the universe, not the top 1000 from a single nation, and that each nation only gets 1 spot, then this bonus isn't so exaggerated. And the quota for the primordial universe. The primordial universe is a real universe in its pristine state. Comprehension of the laws within it is incredibly clear, and the efficiency is 100 to 1000 times greater than in the primordial universe. Even for an immortal level expert, a single trip to the primordial universe can significantly improve performance. Therefore, this is also a very valuable reward. Finally, the core members of the Virtual Universe Company will enjoy many benefits within the company, but compared to the first 2 rewards, this is somewhat unsurprising. Dou, this is a good opportunity. Why don't you give it a try? Babata said. What do you mean by try? From your tone, it sounds like it's difficult for me to break into the top 1000. Luo Feng retorted. Luo Feng, at this moment, was still very confident in himself. Luo Feng, you truly underestimate the billions of geniuses in the universe. Forget the top 1000 in the entire universe. Even within the Qianwu universe, you'd be lucky to break into the top 1000. While there are only a few immortals in the universe, all combined number in the tens of millions. As for the star level immortals, there are countless. Their comprehension, bloodline, talent, willpower, every aspect is far superior to yours. If that venerable had reincarnated to participate in this universe genius tournament, even if he had only practiced for 3 years like you, he could have potentially made it into the top 100 or even higher. But you're still far behind. Babata shook his head. Third son, you often say that venerable's reincarnation is constantly hanging out in this killing ground, but I've been here many times and rarely seen that venerable. Do you think he'll participate in this peak genius tournament? Han asked. Babata, didn't you say this killing ground is useless? Why is Brother Ban still hanging around? Luo Feng asked. Babata gave Luo Feng a disdainful look. That's a venerable. Through battle, a venerable was able to regain his former understanding of physical strength, telekinesis, and the laws of perception. Can you? Alright, Luo Feng said with a wry smile. Will you join? The three glanced at each other, each catching sight of a thirst for battle in their eyes. Suddenly, all three smiled. Let's go, three brothers, and give it our all. Their passion was boundless. The next moment, they vanished from their original position, leaving the killing field to carefully devise strategies. At that moment, a transcendent yet powerful aura slowly emerged from the passageway of the killing field, catching sight of the enormous banner in the sky. The entire universe, billions of geniuses? Madara chuckled, his eyes gleaming with boundless confidence. Since there are billions of geniuses, then he should suppress them all. Madara immediately signed up. After 3 years of honing his skills, it was time for him to unsheath his sword. A month later, registration for the Peak Genius tournament closed. In the Wheelgrave space, Madara re-entered the virtual universe, and a screen automatically appeared in front of him. He clicked lightly, and opened an email he had just received. Welcome to the selection competition for the universe's top human talents. Over 822.5 billion stellar level experts have registered for this competition, representing 110 billion more than the previous round. This is a matter of great joy for us at the Virtual Universe Company. We guarantee that everything in this talent selection competition will be conducted with absolute fairness. Applicants range from 1st, 2nd and 3rd level stellar level experts to 7th, 8th and 9th level experts. To ensure fairness and to select the true talents and conduct the final elimination battles, the competition will take place within the virtual universe. All participants will maintain a physical fitness of 9th level stellar level, and their telekinesis will also be maintained at the 9th level. All participants may choose any of the various grades of force weapons and telekinesis weapons. Please note that, while high-level telekinesis weapons are powerful, they are useless to those without sufficient strength. We recommend choosing the one that best suits them. All external requirements for the talent selection will be the same for all. Your universe is the Qianwu universe. The first round of the Qianwu universe selection consists of a preliminary elimination round and a final arena match. Through preliminary elimination, 822.5 billion participants will be eliminated, leaving only 100,010. Preliminary elimination will divide the virtual universe into over 100 worlds, each with over 8.2 billion participants. These 8.2 billion people will fight each other in the same world. Killing others will earn points, and the more they kill, the more points they earn. Everyone has only one life, and it ends with death. The top 1001 in this world by points will be eliminated through preliminary elimination. Furthermore, the top scorer in each world will directly claim 100 of the top 1000 spots, bypassing the arena showdown. The remaining 900 spots will be contested in arena showdowns by the remaining 100,000. After reading the notification email, Madara tapped his finger lightly on the virtual table that materialized before him. 8.2 billion people frantically slaughtering each other in the same world, ranked by points. Interesting. He could already imagine the scene of everyone fighting frantically, with corpses strewn across the ground. In comparison, whether in the ninja world or the Dou Qi continent, scenes with thousands or tens of thousands as the basic unit seemed small. This is the real grand scene, and also his real stage. Madara slowly stood up, his white immortal robe fluttering in the wind. In this battle of geniuses in the universe, there will definitely be many people shining brightly, and he will be the brightest star. PS. The second update is complete. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.